Broadcasting live from the Everlight Solar Studio, this is your Metro Kia of Madison
What are we doing here?
Center.
What the hell's going on around here?
This is supposed to be Rutledge and Hamilton.
I'm Jim Rutledge. It's Alex Stroh.
There it is.
Great job, Ryan.
Everybody's ego takes a shot on this show.
This is Rutledge and Hamilton with Jim Rutledge and Matt Hamilton.
People like me.
That's some booty, Jim.
Presented by Coors Light on 100.5 ESPN.
Everyone is so mean to me.
I am Jim Rutledge.
You never go full Rutledge.
There is not a lot of things more satisfying than
And you said, hey, I'm not a Chiefs fan anymore. I'm back with the Bears because Justin Fields has it figured out.
Chiefs win.
Facts don't lie.
Hope ain't a strategy, Jimmy. That's for sure.
Yeah, they are filling up two hands right now.
Broadcasting live from the Everlight Solar Studio with
No idea. Irrelevant.
here's Jim Rutledge.
The irreplaceable Jim Rutledge, as evident by the fact that this show ceased to exist when I am gone. If you ever wonder why the show is called Rutledge and Hamilton, Hamilton's gone 30% of the time, and we do the show always when Hamilton's gone. But if I'm gone, the whole show shuts down. Primetime's out of rhythm. He's got back-to-back sports centers running. Riley can't remember anyone's name.
Riley Alka, shadowing producer here today. Apparently can't remember names and can't remember to remove the Sports Center update when one's already in there.
I love the bus toss immediately there, Ryan. Like that wasn't even subtle. That was a two-handed push in front of the bus. Alex Stroh with me. I am Jim Rutledge. Of course, Matt Hamilton's not here. He is curling somewhere overseas.
Switzerland?
This is Rutledge and Hamilton. We are presented by Coors Light. The mountains are blue. You know what to do.
And that's crush a Coors Light just like Ryan crushed Riley's hopes and dreams.
Riley, did we figure out who the person was?
Yeah, who was it, Riley? Tell us.
It was Juan Soto for the Washington Nationals. I had it in my head. I knew Nationals, but I completely blanked on the name.
Anticlimactic 3.5 minutes later.
Yep.
Well, that sounds about right. All right, so I want a couple things.
Hey now.
Twice. So
Take that for data.
I want to start with, I've had a hell of a 24 hours, but you showed me a video before the show started about your kind of fan on the street experience. That'll be living at ESPN Madison's YouTube. And you can watch us right now on YouTube, on Twitter, I don't know, anywhere else. Facebook. Are we on Facebook right now?
We're not been rolling on Facebook recently. It's too buggy.
Zuckerbucks? We don't. Okay.
Zuckerbucks. There's a lot of bugs, a lot of viruses on Facebook.
Jim, we just got a text from Tyler in Sun Prairie. He said, hey, Jim, Jesse Nelson filled in at one point for you.
Yeah.
I just immediately turned the radio off. Glad you're back. Bears still suck.
All right. Who's that?
Tyler in Sun
Tyler,
Prairie.
I love you. Thank you. Honestly, that warms my heart. One, you know how to get me to like you. You rip Jesse. And then two, you know who I am, and you tell me the Bears still suck, which, look, I got to eat that until Caleb Williams turns into the next Patrick Mahomes. Like, I'm ready. I'm going to have a hard year. Let me finish this. I am ready to, fall in love, and it's going to be hard. Like, Justin was still arm's length. Mitch was arm's length. Like, Caleb, I'm jumping in. I have expectations for next year. Next year is going to hurt if the Bears. The last few years, I've kind of guarded my heart. I'm telling you right now, I'm putting it out there, it's going to hurt next year for me if they're not a winning football team.
Yeah, I'm a little worried about it. I'm not going to lie to you. I'm worried about it.
Well, that gives me some help here. But I wanted to get to this part. Yeah. Opening day, we all talk about, New Year's Eve, maybe 4th of July, amateur hour. Opening day has turned into amateur hour. This is now back-to-back opening days. I've seen someone just pee, in the vestibule at AmFam Field. Yes, and I saw some social media that someone fell down the steps holding beers at AmFam Field. The parking lot was it looked like Mad Max had run through there. Like, nobody bothered to put away anything as they tailgated during the snowstorm, and it was just stuff blowing all over. It was impossible to get out. I love the tailgate in the storm and all that kind of stuff, but look, man, you're Packer fans. You know how to put your stuff away. You know how to be an adult. And people lose their mind. I think they're the least amount of baseball fans actually go on opening day.
No doubt.
It is, and it's you can just day drink whenever. You don't have to get stupid drunk that you don't know what is going on in the game at the game. I'm all for having as many Coors Light as you can handle and enjoy, but if you are peeing yourself, if you are peeing in the vestibule, if you are vomiting
vestibule
at the party we were at the tailgate house at AmFam Field, there was multiple areas where vomit was on the ground. This is before the game starts.
Oh my goodness.
So like, party all you want, but I'm sorry, it's amateur hour if you're throwing up, peeing yourself, or doing any of these things at 3 o'clock in the afternoon.
Yeah, so the thing is, you were at the tailgate house at like 1 o'clock in the
so
afternoon.
you're right, yes.
And there was already puke there?
Yes. Here's the thing.
Amateur hour
I went out.
indeed.
I went out to I got there. There was a couple Milwaukee teammates there, and they're like, "Hey, if you want to get a Coors Light, it's kind of step under this little side gate here and walk by the grills, and you can go that way to get it." So I did that. I came back. I'm like, God, it stinks like vomit. And then like a bunch of Milwaukee people are standing around each other. I'll kind of go over, and I'm like, "What are you guys doing?" They're like, "What do you mean?" I'm like, "How do you not smell this vomit?" They're like, "What do you mean?" I'm like, "There's a pile of vomit at your feet." And they're like, "Oh, that's gross." And I'm like, "How drunk are you? You don't smell the vomit at your feet." Like the second I came back into the space, I'm like, "Oh, I'm gonna get sick because I could smell it."
You know whoever smelled the Delta, Jimmy? That's what they say, right?
That's for farts.
It's also for puke at AmFam Field.
Yeah, is that how it goes?
I don't think so.
I'll be honest.
Start the rumor. Rutledge puked on opening day.
I would go home. I can't handle puke. I can't. I will almost puke though. Like when my kids throw
Really?
up, I can't deal with it. My wife is a saint. She has
That's
to deal
fair.
with all that. Like I can't. Like I had to get away. I had to get further away because every time I'd breathe it in, I'm like, I'm gonna get sick.
That's fair.
Yeah, it's gross.
How was your parking situation?
Parking was great. Now, and again, I guess I was one of the lucky few that didn't follow directions. You were supposed to pay for your parking ahead of time.
Yeah.
And then I didn't realize that was a thing.
You don't have to. You can pay
okay.
there.
Okay, because on the
Just
app,
wasn't
on the
working.
Brewers app, it's like, hey, pay ahead of time.
Yeah.
Like when I opened it up. So I scanned the thing when I got there, and I never was able to pay. And then like literally, as I'm like the fifth time, I'm trying to like, what is going on? Like I didn't want to forget. So I'm like, what is happening here? And then finally, it's like, hey, we screwed up. If you haven't paid already, you got free parking today. And like that's
I lucked into it too.
yeah, and that's great. I mean, I should say good karma lucked into it. There's no way I was paying for that. I would just would have expensed it. But like, hey, our expense system is a nightmare, so it saves me a headache. So that's at least
fair.
positive. So, anyways, the parking worked out fine. Now leaving, I was able to work. I was with our friend Bo from Dancing Goat, and we were able to work our way, thanks to Scalzo, up into the WTMJ suite. So we got to hang out there and have a good time. And my wife's texting me stuff. One, it's like, hey, it's like the end of the world here in Madison, by the way. Like,
Yeah, it was
cars are
bad.
flying off the road. It is a complete snowstorm. I'm like, that's not great. And I like to leave around the 8th inning for a ball game. One, I'm not a Brewers fan. I'm not anti-Brewers, but, like, I don't care. It's also the, fourth game of the year yesterday?
Fourth, yeah.
Whatever. That's like I don't care what's happening in this. Like it doesn't matter in the long scheme of things. It doesn't really matter. So I'm like, and my Bo was like, at one point he's just like, I don't care whenever we want to go. So that's always my cue when someone tells me that. I'm like, he told me that like at 4:10. I'm like, let's just stay to 5. Whatever time it is at 5 o'clock, we'll head out so we can kind of beat the traffic out of the game. And so that was the plan. Then my wife calls me and says, hey, we have this part you don't know. She's like, we don't have power in half our house.
Whoa.
And I'm like, what? And if those who listen to the show know that I had this problem about a year ago. Now, thankfully, this time around, the smoke detectors weren't going off.
Oh,
So
I
was
do
like-
remember that.
Yeah, so I was like, but that was the problem. Like only half the house had power. It was like trying to pull power from different sources. There was something wrong with the electrical box. I was like, oh, God, not again. So I asked her, I'm like, hey, does the stove work? Does the dishwasher, the heat, all that? She's like, oh, that's on. I'm like, okay, so I don't think it's the same thing. So I'm like, I'll call Lion Energy. So I called them up. And shout out to them. I called them up. I'm like, hey, I got partial power. Can you send someone out? I learned this last time. Like, that's the first thing you should do. Make sure I'm getting power to the house. So, like, the right amount of power to the house. So I do this, but now I'm in a bad mood. But now it's like after 5, and I'm like, all right, Bo, we should get going
So
anyways.
you're still at the game.
Yes.
Mental gym.
So
Oh,
I'm
good
like,
Lord.
Bo, we should get going. So we get going, and it is a labyrinth to get out of AmFam Field. Like, as far as one, they did not park people right. Like, there was a few times where, like, I should have been able to go down and turn a corner. I couldn't because someone had like a big like a trailer on the back and like with a cooler was sticking out and you can't make that turn.
Oh,
So I had to
geez.
back up one way, and there's like tents and grills and everything just blown all over the place because nobody put anything away, and obviously it was just
Complete disaster.
disaster out there. So I'm trying to make my way through. I go down one way all the way to the end. They're like, oh, you can't go this way. You got to turn around. So then I had to turn all the way back around and then go
goodness.
through a different area. So anyway, I got out. Traffic wasn't bad on the ride home. So I'm driving home, and I'm like, what is going on with this electrical stuff? And both, we're just talking, so I'm not too consumed with it. And I'm trying to, like, it is raining hard. Luckily, it was just raining in the Milwaukee area. So able to get through all that. And then my wife texts me and she says, oh, it's, we did not have full power coming to the house. They think it's because of the weather. And I'm like, okay. She's like, they're going to run a line above ground. They'll be taken care of today. I'm like, great. all right, so now I'm in a good mood. So now we're driving home. I took Bo to Dancing Goat Distillery in Cambridge, so we got off of Johnson Creek, so I avoided all the nastiness that basically like Johnson Creek was where the snow and the roads got really bad, at least around 6 o'clock last night. So then I just made a left. Johnson Creek took them down through like towards Fort Atkinson to Cambridge. So I avoided all the big roads, avoided all the mess. I was like, this is great. I made it home. Fantastic. I called my wife, and she tells me like, hey, you're going to be upset. And I'm like, okay, that's not initially how I love a conversation.
Always a good start, yeah.
Right. So, once in a while I can get worked up. So
really?
So she tells me,
Jim.
but quickly she says, this isn't going to cost us any more money. And I'm like, okay, well, that's good at least. So she's like, they did we were getting partial power, but it's because the fence folks, they nicked the power line underground when they put the fence post
When
in.
did you get a fence?
Probably November. So
have you had partial power for 6 months?
Yes, and they said this is a common thing. Apparently, fence people don't know what they're doing because they said a house like in the neighborhood had a similar thing, and they asked like, "Hey, did the power ever flicker like recently?" And I'm like, I guess like a little bit. And they're like, that's usually the first sign that the power is going to go out is that if your lights flicker for no good reason. I'm like, interesting. So I didn't know that. Like I would have thought of it ahead of time. So, anyways, like you don't have to pay for this. You call the Diggers Hotline. These guys are just idiots, and because these are the same people that I have TDS for my internet, they just completely severed the TDS line when they were out there. They cut right through that one too. So
really?
I already have a line because it was too cold to dig a hole dig a hole to put the TDS line. I already have a TDS line running from the back of the house to the front of the house because that's where the pot is for TDS. Pulls it up. So I have that line. Now I have a power line running from a power source near the back of the house into the yard. So I have a power line and a TDS line. I'm like, can you guys just bury them both when you're out here? So today when I leave, shout out to Line Energy. These poor guys, I didn't think they were coming back today. They're like digging a huge hole in my yard right next to the fence hole. Like they're not like being like they're going right. They think they found out where the spot was. Yeah. They're digging down there. And these poor fellas got to be down there in the snow and muck trying to fix the problem from the fence people. So shout out to Line Energy for taking care of all that. Not going to cost me anything. And look, man, usually you complain about the power company. They came through. Like they're coming through. They're digging holes. They're fixing it. Like good job on them. So I'm like, things are coming up. Rutledge. This was last night when I came home, and I'm like, all right, don't have to deal with this electrical problem.
Things are coming up, Rutledge.
Right. So I get in the car today. The kids had a delayed school. My wife had a hair appointment, and I've learned over time that, especially after COVID, it just takes forever to reschedule those. So she's just like, do you mind? She asked me yesterday, she's like, do you mind if the school's delayed, if you just stay home with the girls, take them to school so I can do the hair appointment? I said, sure, that's no problem. So I get we just kind of hang out at 9:30, get in the car, and get ready to take the girls to school. I start the car, the truck from Simmons Chevrolet in Mount Horeb, only minutes away from a better buying experience. Still had a great experience with this truck. Not the truck's fault that I got a nail in the tire. And I didn't realize this at first, so I'm backing out, and I see this PSI thing that says 4. I'm like, Rosie, can you just pop your head out? Do I have a flat back there? And she goes, yeah, you have a flat tire. And I said a few choice swear words.
Yep.
And then I said, all right, we're going to go to Quick Trip before I take you to school. Went over to Quick Trip because they have free air there.
Right.
I mean, charging for air.
Crazy, right?
Which is why I will always pick Quick Trip, just for that little thing, those little things. I'm like, you're not going to extort me for air? I'm going to come here for the
Our
gas.
parking garage is for air, too.
Good to know. So I go there, and I'm like, all right, I'll try to fill up the tire to, like, get it so I can at least get the girls to school and figure it out later. It's just not inflating. It's just not. Uh-oh. So I was like, all right. So I call this place in town. You know what? I'll give them one shout out. Gary Willie's in town. I call him. I'm like, hey, can I get do you guys have this tire? Can I get this over to you? Can you get this done today? They're like, yeah. I'm like, great. So it's only a mile away. It's the closest one to my house is why I went there. But I was like, go there. They give me a loaner, take the girls to school. But initially, the guy's trying to sell me more tires. He's like, well, I think you kind of maybe need 4 tires. And I'm like, look, man, I'm just doing one. I don't want to deal with this at this moment. I don't want to drop $1,300 on tires. Correct. So, like, I'll deal with this problem another day. Just put this tire on, and I'll deal with this problem another day. So he put the tire on because they weren't bad. He was like, well, they're starting to get to that point. I'm like, yeah, this isn't a light decision. It's just $1,300. I know they're starting to get to that point, but I have like 36,000 miles on the truck. It says here that tires are good to like between like 40 and 50,000, and I rotate them. Like I should be able to get a little bit more out of these. So it's like I'm not dealing with this at the moment. So just put the one on. They did. They gave me a loaner. Didn't feel comfortable. I won't bury the company of the loaner, but I was like, this car, I don't feel comfortable taking out of Oregon. So I was like, got the girls to school and then got home, and they're like, yeah, you had a nail in the tire. So that's been my last 24 hours. Short on power, nail in the tire, $300 out of my pocket to fix a tire in the truck. But I love Simmons Chevy in Mount Horeb. If I could have, I would have taken a truck out there to Simmons Chevy in Mount Horeb because either they would have given me a good deal on tires or they wouldn't have tried to upsell me on tires I don't need. So shout out to Simmons Chevy in Mount Horeb because you're only minutes away from a better buying experience.
All right, lot to unpack.
Yes.
I need to make sure my vocal cords still work.
Yeah.
Okay, a couple questions.
Yeah.
Why was your tire not flat when you were driving in a snowstorm yesterday? If you think you picked it up at the Brewer game.
And I guess the other thought would be, did I hit it through, like, there was lots of car accidents or cars off the road?
That's my thought.
But it's a nail.
Yeah, I don't know where a nail
So here's the
comes
other
into
question.
play.
Maybe we could throw us out, Jim and Matt. I have personalized plates. Do you think this nail was on purpose?
Wouldn't doubt it.
Somebody
Wait a
saw-
minute. What about your scumbag, well, not your scumbag neighbor, but your neighbor's scumbag's daughter's boyfriend that you threatened to call the police on?
I think he's gone. His car is gone.
As in he's dead, the car is gone, or they broke up?
I care as much about any one of those three things. So whatever they are, he's out of my life, I think.
I personally do not believe this was a targeted attack.
I don't, but I think it's fun to ask.
It is fun to ask.
So we can ask that. Was Jim Rutledge's tire popped on purpose? Because there's a nail in it. And like that'd be like
Yeah.
something like if I was a single guy, I'd be like, they'd be like, oh, which girlfriend did you upset or whatever? They put a nail in your tire. Like I feel like that's in a Casey Musgrave song. But like, I would say, is it, what's the
Carrie Underwood?
Carrie Underwood. Same difference. Same difference. Same difference. Anyways, we can ask that question. I do not think
It's
it was
a key,
a
not
targeted.
a nail.
I don't think it was a targeted attack, but we can ask that question. If someone put a nail in my tire on
was
purpose.
Jim's truck targeted by a nail? By a enemy? How are we wording this?
You figure it out.
I have more questions.
Yes.
So you brought your kids to school on a 2-hour delay. Their school starts at what time? Today.
It's a good question because my wife said this today. I'm like, what time do I take them to school? She's like 2 hours later than normal. I'm like, okay.
What
but
time's
like,
normal?
So I leave the house at 7:30 if I'm taking both to school. Because
Okay.
I think
So it probably
Rosie's like
starts at
7:40 and then Nola's 7:50, like right in that range. So,
So you didn't make it in time today.
well, I mean, we left at 9. Yeah, no, they were late.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, I had to call. There was a whole other thing. Like,
Yeah, well, how was that experience?
that was fine.
You're
my
like,
wife
hey, I
was-
have a flat tire.
Yeah.
I need to go take care of this.
I was less than thrilled that my wife was kind of seemed like she was blaming me for the flat tire. She's like, why aren't the girls at school? I'm like, flat tire. I thought I was pretty self-explanatory. Like,
Why aren't the girls at school?
and then she's like, well, how are you going to get in there? I'm like, I don't know.
Loaner car.
Yeah, well, I told her, I'm like, I think I'll be able to get. I'll take care of it. And she goes, well, how are you going to get him there? Like question marks. And I'm like, I'm assuming they'll have a loaner,
So,
or someone will help me out get the girls to school.
at any point did you debate whether or not you should actually just call them in?
I did call, not for like the day. I didn't want to do that to my wife. Like, be like, hey, kids are home for the day now. I'm going to go to work. I wasn't going to do that. So, or to me, because she had a lot of things going on. I wasn't going to babysit the kids all day. They're going to school. But I did call the school and be like, left a message like, hey, got a flat. They're coming in when they come in. Like, that was basically it. Like, I don't know how long this was going to take. So, but yes, so the kids, I did do the proper steps, but I was getting unnecessary heat. I was proud of myself for not flipping out on that. But yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
Lot to unpack. So did you enjoy yourself at the Brewer game?
Yeah, Bo's good company. And so I got to drive there back with him and hang out, and that was fun. And then got to see Scalzo and Brust and Nortman and Kyle. Saw Neitzel. I really wasn't paying attention to the game. I know that I was paying attention early. I wanted to make sure, Jackson Churio's a hell of a player, so I want to be like, I saw him come out. I wanted to make sure, hey, let's make sure you have this memory of, his first home opener, his first time being introduced to the fans. I want to make sure I remember that. His first at bat, he drove in the run. I wanted to make sure that, honestly, that was the only thing I cared about. The rest of the team was whatever. But, that guy, I was like, I want to make sure I see this. And I did. And I still thought to myself, man, baseball's great now with this pitch clock.
Dude, it is.
This
It
is
is
the best thing ever.
I think it was 2 hours, 25 minutes yesterday. It was
Yeah.
great. I mean, yeah, you're totally right about that.
And I did, not accidentally. This lady turned around and gave me a put her hand up, give me a high five, and she was so excited I couldn't not give her a high five. And then she could tell by my face that I was not thrilled with the high five. She's like, I'm so sorry. I'm like, it's fine. I go, I'm just not a Brewers fan. And then she kept on apologizing. They were inebriated.
Wait, so I took over your seats at some point yesterday.
Yeah.
So Jim went up to the suite. I ended up taking his seats, and I sat behind these women. And I think inebriated might be an understatement.
Yes.
They were having a good time.
They were wonderful people too, and they're like, oh, my husband's a Cubs fan. He comes here to cheer against the Cubs, and he's like, I'm sorry, you're a Cubs fan. I'm like, I'll be fine this year, don't worry. And so we had a fun little conversation, and then I said we're gonna. I'm going up to the suite. See you later. So we told, they're like, does anyone take your seats? Because they were not in their seats, by the way. I don't know if you knew that. So like, they asked me, they're like, are you coming back to your seats? I'm like, I don't think so. I might send some friends down. They're like, okay, but because we're not in our seats, so we might just take yours if we get kicked out of our seats. I'm like, have at it. Like,
did you talk to the lady that was working security over there? She's like 85 years old.
No, I got the other guy. That's who checked us when we came through.
The lady yelled at me for stepping over to the seat, even though we were in the back row.
That's because you're young, because Bo and I both did that, and she didn't blink an eye once. Every time we got up to go to the bathroom or do anything.
The dude to my left, which would have been to your left as well,
he was a nice guy too.
He said to me, hey, man, I wouldn't mess with her. She just sent 2 people out in cuffs because they didn't have tickets. I was like, out in cuffs because they don't have tickets. He's like, yeah, I don't know, man. I've just been here. Drew and Madison's on the text line, 844-770-3776. This story of Jim's last 24 hours brings me back to the jump around days. Miss the old time slot.
Appreciate it.
And then Robin,
everyone's so nice today.
Yeah, what's going on today?
They missed me.
Robin Madison.
I guess they can be quick.
Revenge with a nail isn't fun. Now, slicing old tires or putting the truck up on cinder blocks is golden revenge.
Jeez. Well, I'm thankful that didn't happen to me. Oh, but there was one person that I would say would be a candidate if they knew my truck. I did not give a high five. There was a guy, 2 guys, mid to late 20s, hammered. And they were basically seeking out Twins fans to try to give them high fives on our way out the door. And the game was only 3-2, so it was a little bit aggressive. I'm like, the Twins had scored the last 2 runs, and I'm like, the game could go the other way here, fellas. But they're like aggressively trying to troll Twins fans. They're trying to give them high fives and not doing it. So then they come up to me, and I'm wearing my Vibes hat from the Vibes golf outing, and then just like my Dancing Goat sweatshirt. So I don't do the Cubs at a Brewer game thing. There was a couple people I saw wearing Cubs stuff, and I say, go Cubs. They're like, finally, someone. And so I give them credit for doing it, but I don't feel like dealing with it anymore. But anyways, the guys came up to me and tried to give me a high five. And I just looked at it and said, not going to happen, fellas. And they kept that moving. Because you're just trolling. Like normal, like a Brewer one, I don't care about the Brewers. I would have given a high five. Packers, I won't do it. But like these guys were like, you're going out of your way to just troll the Twins fans who are in town. I'm not partaking in this.
You're just trolling, says the biggest troll on ESPN Wisconsin.
Game recognized game. I'm not playing your game today.
You're a dork.
Oh man, I am a dork. So is Matt Hamilton. This is Rutledge and Hamilton, presented by Coors Light. We are going to talk some sports on the other side, but I do think opening day is amateur hour. You can text in or call in to disagree with me on that 844-770-3776. We're going to talk Packers, and I think their AFC doppelganger, or what would you use for the Texans?
Yeah, I mean, I would call them the brother or the doppelganger. I said that all of last year. 2 up-and-coming offenses, 2 decent defenses. Yeah, doppelganger works.
And one team's in a great position with a quarterback on a rookie pay scale. This is Rutledge and Hamilton, presented by Coors Light.
Matt Hamilton here. I'm away curling at the World Championships in Switzerland right now. And even though I'm not at home, I feel confident that if anything did go wrong, Revive Restoration's got my back. They take care of fire damage, smoke damage, water damage. They can get rid of mold and asbestos safely and efficiently. So if you've got issues with your home or your business, whether you're gone curling like me or you're off on a business trip or home dealing with something yourself, Revive Restoration has your back 365 days a year, 7 days a week. Revive Restoration.
You're listening to Rutledge and Hamilton, presented by Coors Light. Also brought to you by J&K Security Solutions, securing homes and businesses in the Madison area since 1987.
Matt Hamilton here to tell you about my friends at Revive Restoration. Nobody plans for accidents to happen, but when they do, you can count on Revive to be professional, efficient, and detail-oriented as they make things right again. Revive Restoration.
The area's best high school sports coverage is Zimbrick Honda's presentation of Prep Mania.
And after 4 overtimes, we finally figure out the first team in the Division I state final. 99-95 our score. Arrowhead Warhawks.
Zimbrick Honda's Prep Mania is also brought to you by Canopy Wealth Management, Pasquale's Cantina, UW Credit Union, Stoughton Trailers, the GRB Academy, and Stoughton Health.
From the biggest plays on the court to the comments made in the locker room after, an in-depth recap of every Bucks game in 6 minutes. No more, no less. Bucks in 6 provides game recaps for every game. Hear the high-flying dunks from Giannis.
Puts it on the floor, spins down the lane, and plunges it through.
Or the deep threes from Dame.
Dame time has arrived with 107.
Bucks in 6 on the Bucks Plus Audio Network. Find it now on bucks.com/plus or on Spotify, Apple, and wherever you get your podcasts.
Hey, it's Ben Brust, and join me for a look back on one of the most memorable basketball seasons in Badger history. A banner year, the story of the 2014 Wisconsin Final Four team, featuring great conversations with Bo Ryan, Frank Kaminsky, Barstool Big Cat, Ian Eagle, and more.
Wisconsin is headed to the Final Four.
Starting April 1st, find it on ESPN Madison's YouTube channel, live on 100.5 ESPN, and wherever you get your podcasts.
Good Karma Brands is proud to be an equal opportunity employer. Our policy is to provide equal opportunity employment, development, and advancement to all current and potential teammates. If you are an organization that maintains a job bank, provides employment information, or gives job referrals, you may request to be placed on the station's mailing list for future career opportunities. To learn more about careers at Good Karma Brands, please email careers@goodkarmabrands.com.
When it comes to security for your home and family, you want a winner, and we found one when we placed our trust with J&K Security Solutions. This is Greg Gard. Kim and Jeff hit the game-winning shot for us with the Control 4 home technology system. Home or away, from our smartphones, we can open the garage door, dim the lights, turn on the TV, as well as arm the security system. That's convenience as well as peace of mind. Let J&K Security Solutions do for your home or business like they've done for us. Call 255-5799 or online at jksecurity.com.
Stoughton Health, in collaboration with patient and family advisors, seeks to advance the healthcare experience at Stoughton Health by providing a forum for past patients and families to provide feedback on a variety of healthcare and other related topics. Advisors offer constructive feedback on their personal journey at Stoughton Health, helping to elevate the patient experience and increase satisfaction. Interested? Please call Amy at 608-873-2308.
Since 1956, Holman Lindsay Paints has been making paint in Wisconsin for Wisconsin. Because of their commitment to making great paint for Wisconsinites, Holman Lindsay has grown over the years to 26 locations in this great state. Headquarters in Sun Prairie with a state-of-the-art facility, Holman Lindsay has the paint you need to make your job better. From do-it-yourself to professional, Holman Lindsay has paint for everyone. Visit one of their local locations today in Madison, Sun Prairie, Middleton, and Janesville.
Welcome back to Rutledge and Hamilton, presented by Coors Light on 100.5 ESPN. Brought to you by Metro Kia of Madison, Madison's trusted Kia dealership.
That's being a producer. I'll bury Ryan Wollersheim if I want to, but I will give him credit when credit is due. He comes through with Carrie Underwood's song from, let me think, 2006?
That's a good guess.
Oh, great question.
Might be a little bit later than that, because I think she was on American Idol in like 06.
Oh, she was an American Idol winner.
She was a winner, yes.
Okay, he's Alex Strofe. I'm Jim Rutledge. This is Rutledge and Hamilton.
Former fourth-place finisher of American Idol, Chris Daughtry, next door to us tonight at the Sylvia, opening for Breaking Benjamin.
I don't know who Chris Daughtry is.
Sure you do. You know who Daughtry is. You would know music by him.
I don't listen to country music.
He's not country. He's rock.
Probably not rock either. I'm very much, I don't listen to music on terrestrial radio. Like, I am finding who I want specifically through, like, artists that, like, on iTunes of, like, hey, you might like this person. So then I have a very, now it's like Zach Bryan, Tyler Childress. Like, now I'm kind of Chris Stapleton. Like, I've kind of found a little Jason Isbell. Like, I've kind of found this little.
Jason Isbell.
Oh, he's the best. He might be the best at all.
Jim, I was wrong. 2005 for Before He Cheats.
Okay. Oh, really? I found 2006. Maybe it came out as a single 2005, album 2006.
You probably nailed that, Ryan.
I nailed it. I said 2006.
He did.
That was
yeah,
pretty
I was about
good.
to say.
Yeah.
I was about to give Jim credit. Things are really coming up Rutledge today, guys.
Yes.
Did you cut that yet? Because that should be the most used hotkey of all time.
I cut it. I don't have it as a hotkey yet, but we're getting there.
Things are coming up Rutledge might be the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard him say on the show, and that is a high bar.
Yes.
David Deerfield wants to know, how is Matt doing at Worlds? I have no idea.
Ryan?
I believe last I checked, Team Schuster, they had a game this morning at 7 a.m. our time. I have no clue what time that is in Switzerland. But last I checked, they were 2-1 record, but that was a couple days ago.
Hey, they tweeted 42 seconds ago.
Okay, what do we got?
The USA is not doing great. Top 6 advanced. They are in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. They are in 8th place. 4 wins, 4 losses. So tied for 7th, actually, with Norway, because they are also 4-4.
Okay, I believe they have 10 total matches, so they could still make a comeback here.
They could still sneak in. Top 6 advance of the top 2 teams receiving a bye directly to the semifinals. They will not get that high, though, because Sweden, a perfect 8-0, Canada, 7-1, a bunch of 6-2 or 6-3 teams. They're down, like I said, tied for 7th.
Okay.
4-4.
Okay.
That is the most in-depth I've ever gone on curling. Pat on the back to me.
Good job. Good job.
Thank you.
So, if you want to look it up yourselves, tell us how Matt's doing. Do you text Matt? I haven't texted him during this.
Have I? I got to be honest with you guys. Yeah. Maybe this is an indication of how Matt feels about me.
Oh.
But since I stopped producing the show, I've maybe texted Matt a total of 3 times.
Wow. That's is that a bad look for Alex?
Okay.
I mean, it's not a great look.
I've initiated every time.
Oh. Well, maybe then he wants nothing to do with you.
That's my concern. Because we used to be like pretty tight. Like we used to hang out outside of work. Haven't done that in a long time. Yeah, I don't know, man.
Weed is tight. Weed is tight.
I don't know what that means.
They're pretty tight, and I was wondering what they're bonding over.
I would say I haven't texted him, but I try to leave Matt to do his own thing when he's curling. If he's doing stupid golf stuff, I will text and call him whenever. But if he's curling, I do let him do his own thing.
Yeah, especially when he's overseas and 7 time zones away, I tend to leave him alone.
Rip and Rona says Jim says he doesn't like country, then lists Zach Bryan, Chris Stapleton as his favorites. That's Americana. Jason Isbell specifically won a Grammy as Americana as an artist. So
Zach Bryan, I would say, he is country.
And here's the problem. And Rip and Rona, here's what I'll say. It's the bro country I don't like. Like Luke Bryan. The easiest way to describe it is I don't like Luke Bryan. I like Zach Bryan.
You don't like Blake Shelton,
right? Guys, they don't write their own songs.
Blake Shelton's not that bad.
They don't write their own songs. They don't live that life. They're kind of just what's that song? The pandering song, like Morgan Wallen. All these people who sing other people's songs and don't actually have tractor and live this, they live in the city and never really were farmers or country folk. The panderers, Zach Bryan, Morgan Wallen, all that, I don't care for them. And also, that's not even country music. That's country rock. It's like pop songs. But which on a side note, I find hilarious that some quote unquote country fans mad at Beyonce. She just put out the albums that everyone else puts out. What's the difference between Beyonce and Tim McGraw?
She did it better.
Yes,
if I'm being honest.
Yeah, but anyway, setting that aside, so I write your own songs.
Disrespectful of Tim McGraw, just so you're all aware. One of the great country artists of our lifetimes.
But I think he's jumped. I think he's not that guy anymore.
No. He's done now. He's old. But I did see he was just performing in a Caitlin Clark jersey, so respect to him.
Yeah, good for. Maybe Luke Bryan. We'll just bury Luke Bryan. He sucks.
Yeah, that's fine.
So we'll just bury Luke Bryan.
Current judge on American Idol, actually, Luke Bryan. Current judge on American Idol.
I saw him play.
This conversation goes full circle.
I saw him play in Brooklyn this year.
Wisconsin?
Yeah, the farm thing.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
You left that early, too.
Well, God, I would have left that. I would never have gone if my wife wasn't. She likes Luke Bryan, so I was like, all right, we'll
that's
go.
why you hate him?
Why?
You're jealous.
No, I don't like Morgan Wallen either.
Does your wife like him?
No. She actually didn't know my name.
Jim?
Who likes Morgan Wallen?
Yeah,
he's kind of awful.
It's a fair question.
But Luke Bryan, not a lot better. And then their music isn't good. It's like a sliding scale. If your music's really good, it's a tougher sell. It's just like if you're a really good actor and I'm like, man, you're terrible, but some of the stuff is good. I'm just going to have to deal with it. But other ones, you see Tim Allen, I'm like, you suck. And your stuff sucks,
Tim
so
Allen.
I'm fine.
Tim McGraw, you mean?
No, I'm talking about movies now. If
you
go
Tim
to
Allen,
yeah,
okay.
But if you
Toy Story, great movie.
Yeah,
that's Tim Allen.
I could deal with
He's
him in
Buzz
that.
Lightyear, right?
But Home Depot, or not Home Depot. Home Improvement is a trash show.
Oh, what about Wilson, the next door neighbor? You never see his face. That's a fun little bit.
I know, but have you watched it back ever?
No.
If you watch it, you're
I watched it as a kid.
Yeah, me too. But then, if you saw, it doesn't hold up. You watch it, you're like, oh, this isn't that good. It's not anything problematic with it. It's just more of
wildest
not
things
good.
of my life, though, speaking of Home Improvement, I'm sorry to derail this so much.
What rail are we on?
Yeah, fair point. Richard Karn or Kern? Is it Richard Kern who's in that show? The best friend. He's Tim Allen's best friend in the show. He ended up hosting Family Feud for years after he was on Home Improvement. What a wild career trajectory.
Yeah.
And then he got replaced by Steve Harvey. who I think still hosts Family Feud.
Interesting. Well, there we go. On that last little thing, isn't one of the kids from Home Improvement a criminal?
I mean,
I think he's dating your neighbor's daughter. Isn't that what it is?
Zachary Ty Bryan, a former child star who appeared on Home Improvement, faced multiple legal issues.
No.
Yeah, he's not. He's an awful person.
Oh, good stuff.
Yeah.
Okay.
Way to give him the limelight, Jimmy.
Yeah. Well, we'll just remind everyone, another reason not to watch that show. He is awful. He is an awful, awful person. This is Rutledge and Hamilton. We will get to the Packer side of everything here. So what I want to touch on for a second here is that we have Mike from Sauk Prairie chime in with a couple messages. We'll get to him in a second. But the Texans and the Packers are doing things a little different. Now, I teased a little bit about the rookie scale contract, but it does allow the Texans to do things a little different than the Packers because the Packers know that they are going to be cutting a massive check to Jordan Love that will not start next season, this upcoming season, but will start the following one, so they have to budget for that going forward. It'll be upwards. I mean, honestly, at this point, I would be shocked if it's not like $52, $53 million per season on average. So that is going to be a massive check you have to cut to him, which immediately puts the pressure on Jordan Love to have to kind of carry the team. There is a little leeway because some of the younger players are on younger deals, but that clock starts immediately for him of like, now it's the real deal. It's the big leagues. You get paid the big money, and you have to win, which the only two quarterbacks who have done that have been Mahomes and Brady. Every other quarterback that got paid the big money don't win the Super Bowl. They can get there. So unless he's one of those guys, because, again, Aaron Rodgers won it, there was no salary cap that year. I still don't understand why, but there was not a salary cap that year, the year he won it. So, again, the guys that have won it with being large parts of their team's salary, it just doesn't happen. Fair. So the Texans have had, they've added Daniil Hunter, they've added Danico Autry, they added a couple linebackers.
Joe Mixon.
Yeah. Jeez, I forgot about Mixon.
Yeah, Mixon got traded there, and now today they trade for Stephon Diggs.
Yes. David and Jeff Okuda, they've had a lot of players.
Dude, they're going all in.
Yes, and they have the money to, and they have a quarterback who's got 3 years left on his rookie scale deal.
They're a fascinating team. I called them, and you used the term doppelganger, but I remember late in the season when the Packers started heating up and the Texans did as well entering the playoffs, I said, boy, these two teams have a lot of similarities, right? Young quarterback on a rookie deal, won't be the case next year, we assume, with Jordan Love. But a ton of young weapons offensively, right? Like Tank Dell, Nico Collins, the two-star receivers this past year for the Texans. Packers obviously have Wicks and Reed and Watson and Dobbs and the two tight ends. There are a lot of similarities, especially offensively. But those similarities kind of stop all of a sudden, Jimmy, because the Texans going all in. The Packers only grab Josh Jacobs offensively. Defensively, obviously, they upgrade at safety and have a ton of first-round picks across the rest of the defensive board. But a little bit different between those two teams all of a sudden.
So I want to ask this question, and I'm going to tell you about our good friends at J&K Security. Who is going to make the Super Bowl first, the Green Bay Packers or the Houston Texans? J&K Security Solutions is locally owned, family run. They've been a part of the Madison community for nearly 40 years. Jeffrey and the whole team at J&K make sure, and they care about making sure your home and or business is safe and secure. They have services ranging from commercial fire detection to commercial security and surveillance. They are dedicated to keeping your business safe. Home services include security and home automation services using Control4. Keep your home and business safe with our friends at J&K Security Solutions. This is Rutledge and Hamilton, presented by Coors Light.
This is Rutledge and Hamilton, presented by Coors Light. Watch every show live and for free on the ESPN Madison YouTube channel.
At Blaine's Farm and Fleet, we get you outdoors because we get you. Whether you're ready to work in the yard, tackle a project, or enjoy family time, we get you the right products at the right prices. Right now, Rewards members get a free $10 gift card with $100 spent on Estate fertilizer, like $10 off all new Estate Premium 4-in-1 lawn treatment with 4 benefits: crabgrass prevention and contact killer, broadleaf weed control, and lawn fertilizer, all in one application. We get you outdoors because we get you at Blaine's Farm and Fleet.
Your Honda gets you everywhere. When it needs service, you need Zimbrick Honda service. Their customer service is second to none, and you can experience it yourself at 2 convenient Madison locations on Fish Hatchery Road and Grand Canyon Drive. Honda certified technicians handle it all. You can even get flexible payment options. Fix your car now and pay later. Apply online to see your options in seconds with no hard credit check. Make your service appointment online at ZimbrickHonda.com. Zimbrick Honda Service Center on Fish Hatchery Road and Grand Canyon Drive. Part of the Madison community since 1973. Shop Zimbrick Honda.
Mark your calendars and get ready for game day at the 5th Annual Easter Seals Wisconsin Celebrity Basketball Experience, presented by Affiliated Dentists. Former UW athletes hit the hardwood on April 13th at Madison College to support children and adults with disabilities. Tip-off is at 3 p.m. And for some pregame action, be sure to register your kids grades 3 through 8 at the Shot Doctor Skills Academy from 1 to 2:30 with former UW men's basketball assistant coach Gary Close. All abilities welcome to register. Visit easterseals.com/gameday for more details.
Join the Madison Money Guy, Christian Finfrock, for Retirement Income Strategies, Saturday and Sunday mornings at 7. Get the information you need as you plan for retirement. That's Retirement Income Strategies, Saturday and Sunday mornings at 7. Investment advisory services offered through Retirement Income Strategies, an SEC-registered investment advisor.
Haul away big deals this Thursday through Sunday at Fleet Farm's Truckload Savings Event. Like 40-pound bags of black oil sunflower seed on sale for $14.99. Save on a Blackstone 28-inch griddle with cover and accessories, just $249.99. Pick up 4 bags of garden soil on sale for $10. And save on 40 pounds of Morton water softening pellets for only $5.79. Stock up on everything you need for everyday life at Fleet Farm.
I'm attorney David Gruber. You've heard our slogan thousands of times, but we are much more than just one call. We are one team, one community, one family, and we're the one law firm that can get you the results and compensation you deserve after a serious accident. Call Gruber Law Offices today. One call, that's all.
Hey, it's Ben Brust, and join me for a look back on one of the most memorable basketball seasons in Badger history. A banner year, the story of the 2014 Wisconsin Final Four team, featuring great conversations with Bo Ryan, Frank Kaminsky, Barstool Big Cat, Ian Eagle, and more.
Wisconsin is headed to the Final Four.
Starting April 1st, find it on ESPN Madison's YouTube channel, live on 100.5 ESPN, and wherever you get your podcasts.
You're listening to Rutledge and Hamilton on 100.5 ESPN. Brought to you by Carbon World Health.
A little boom in my big truck. Gonna open up the doors and turn it up. Gonna stomp my boots in the Georgia mud. Gonna watch you make me fall in love. Get up on the hood of my daddy's tractor. Up on the toolbox, it don't matter. Down on the tailgate, girl, I can't wait to watch you do your thing. Shake it for the young bucks sitting in the honky tonks. For the rednecks rocking till the break of dawn. The DJ spinning that.
Jimmy just popped a little bit of Grizzly wintergreen tobacco in his bottom lip.
Look, here's the thing. This sounds like every other country song.
It does.
So who's singing this?
Well, I was at this concert, so this is Luke Bryan. Yeah. It's
Okay.
Luke Bryan.
Wait, no. Oh, yeah, it's Luke Bryan. I Googled Blake Shelton. My bad, guys.
See, that's my thing, but like you didn't blink an eye at it.
No.
Luke Shelton.
It might be Blake Shelton.
It's Luke Bryan. It is Luke Bryan, I promise.
They sound very similar.
They
Blake
all
Shelton,
sound
the
the
judge
same.
on the Voice.
Oh, wait. So one's on The Voice, one's on American
Bryan's
Idol.
on American Idol. Blake Shelton's on The Voice. Yeah.
Good Lord,
Wow.
did that get more confusing?
This is like Nas and Jay-Z, these two. Yeah, I mean, they're just back to back.
Yeah, no doubt.
Alex Strofe, Jim Rutledge with you live from the Everlight Solar Studio. This is Rutledge and Hamilton, presented by Coors Light. And we got Tauscher joining us next hour. He was supposed to join us right about a half an hour or 15 minutes ago, but that's not happening. Not because we felt like we had to talk about country music. It was,
I was going to say,
he
is that
moved it
our
back.
fault? Well,
No.
we were running very late.
You think Tauscher was putting up with that? No.
Putting up with what?
He would have been like, put me on.
Yeah, that's true.
So Mike from Sauk Prairie said that the reason that Matt soured on Strofe is because he criticized Matt's fashion.
Everybody's ego takes a shot on this show.
Okay. Even if that is true, tell me it doesn't deserve to be criticized sometimes. People knock down my ego all the time. People make fun of me every single day of my life.
I honestly think, though, the one thing is, like, Matt's fashion is very important to him. He needs to believe he's the most fashionable person in the office at all times. And so it's just one of those things of, like,
so that's fine.
That's just like it was a kneecap to him. Like, you didn't do anything wrong.
I don't even remember what I did.
I don't remember. I do remember the incident. I don't remember specifically.
The thing about the fans of shows on ESPN Madison is you guys have the greatest memories in the world. Like, I don't remember what I said. I had a show, 4 hours ago? Mm-hmm. I'm not even exactly sure what I said on Mr. Irrelevant today. I remember some of it, but you guys have incredible memories. What animal has great memory? Is it a buffalo?
Elephants.
Elephant. You guys have the memory of elephants.
And I appreciate it because,
hold us accountable. I love it.
People like me.
Everything started up Rutledge.
Everything started up Rutledge. Rip Arona chimes in. The thing about Luke Bryan that boggles my mind is that his voice is not good. You'd figure that would be important for a singer. That is a good point. It's
true.
He's also not like I saw him play, and I'll be honest. We went to the Dolly Parton Stampede. It was like a dinner show at like a fireside thing down in Gatlinburg, but it was with like a rodeo sort of thing. But beforehand, they had some local musicians. They like the regular show folks. I would say twice a day for 7 days a week. They perform like a little bluegrass thing.
Cool.
Every one of those musicians were way more talented than Luke Bryan. Like as far as like they're playing a banjo, they're playing guitar. The one guy played, God, what song did he play? Like Sweet Home Alabama on a acoustic guitar.
Oh, nice.
And like usually you need the electric part for it. You could hear him do his thing.
Dude, I've made this case on the show before, but I think bluegrass music is the most fun to see live.
You did mention that. It is a good time.
Super fun.
I think Yonder Mountain String Cheese Incident, I think that's the name of the band. I've seen them a couple times. Excuse me? I think those are two different things.
Yonder Mountain.
No, I'm sorry. Yonder.
The String Cheese Incident is a
Then
band.
there's Yonder Mountain String Band or something like that. Let me pull this up. Yonder Mountain.
I don't know that the String Cheese
you're right.
Incident
It
is
an old
bluegrass.
thing. No, Yonder Mountain String Band. That's who I saw. I've seen them a couple times. I haven't seen them in probably 10, 15 years. My brother was a big fan. When he come to Florida, we kind of saw them a few times. Yonder Mountain String Band, I think, would be considered a bluegrass band. So then I've seen bluegrass in person a couple times. Then Rip and Rona. You already said that one. Sorry. David Deerfield chimes in, probably the Packers because Reed and Mahomes are in the AFC as far as which team would win the Super Bowl first, the Texans or the Packers. That's our main sports question. But then Robin Madison chimes in, Tyler Childress and White Buffalo is good country, Luke Bryan is pop trash. I think that's kind of a good way to describe it there.
I'm okay with
you
that
could chime in with your country music takes. That's why I try to put in Jason Isbell and these other ones. Look, Jason Isbell wrote, I think, maybe it's Morgan Wallen's most popular song, Cover Me Up. Jason Isbell wrote it and performed it first. And that stuff always bothers me because that's like a very personal song that Jason Isbell wrote about a time in his life. And then Morgan Wallen's like, I'll just cover it. And I know Jason Isbell gets money out of it, but like, it's like, what are we doing here?
Well, it goes back to the Luke Combs Fast Car Tracy Chapman cover that I despised.
Same. Now, my wife tried to sell me on it, and I'll give her this. So, like, it was important to Luke Combs because that's the song he learned to play a guitar with his dad. So he had a personal meaning to it, but like, Tracy Chapman's like,
Tracy Chapman gave him the...
She did.
Yeah, permission.
And obviously they do give the permission for it, but it's just one of those things where it's very dicey if you're going to cover a song, in my opinion. Just like the Jolene. Beyonce did her new twist on Jolene, but Dolly Parton's like, she kind of asked her to do it and then has been pumping it up, saying like, this is amazing. I love it. So
I haven't listened to it yet.
The whole album, it's up and down. I'm very up and down on Beyonce. It's very much hit or miss.
Also very up and down
if I hear a song from Beyonce, I'm like, I love it.
Ryan's
or I
gotta
hate
take
it very quickly.
I was going to say the second half of the album's really, really good. The first half is a lot of covers. It's Blackbird is in there too. Jolene, I thought both covers were really good.
Me too. I thought Blackbird was a good cover. Yeah.
Blackbird,
Ya is one I like.
Ya is a great song.
Yes,
that song rips.
Yes.
And then Texas Hold'em is also on this album. It came out as a single a while ago.
That song, yeah, that slaps.
Oh, that
Yeah,
agreed.
I don't like it. I don't
What?
like it.
What?
Yeah, I'm not a fan of that.
The guy was taken off YouTube once.
I know.
Is that why you don't like it?
No, that's not why. Did you hear about the feet debacle we had last week when you were out?
Last Thursday, after dark.
Well, he took photos of me and Pablo's feet on Monday.
Yeah, we're a feet show, but me and Molly, that episode that got taken off YouTube, we discussed the idea of a foot fetish.
Uh-huh.
And I was asking people to text in if they had it. I would keep them anonymous. And I was curious, how you discovered that this was something you liked. And Ryan was the most uncomfortable I've ever seen him.
I'll be honest, just my take on it. It's just like, you can get your freak on. I don't care.
Yeah.
But that's one of one. Like some of you are like, okay, I can get it. It's not for me, but I get where how that would you might
Don't
like
yuck
that.
their yum.
But like
correct,
exactly. So I'm not yucking the yum, but I'm more of like that one is more of like I don't get it. Like some are like it's not for me, but I get it. But the feet one, I'm like I don't even understand. I don't get it.
I don't want to incriminate her here. But Molly told the story. She told the story, so I guess I can repeat it. It's fair game.
Well, that's right. We got taken off YouTube. I don't know.
She openly admitted she sucks on her husband's toes sometimes. What was that noise?
That is disgusting. I don't want to be on either end of that.
Do you think differently of her after hearing that?
Yes.
Jim, if you had to be
I'm
on
actually
one
going to
end.
yuck her yum.
Okay. All right, I'm stepping out.
This is Rutledge and Hamilton. We're going to do a minute to win it here. So I need a caller first, or are we doing the
Well, we got to give
over-under
the category first, then we can get the over-under, right? Okay, so Strofe stepped out because first we have to give the over-under for today's category. So
is
the
it
category,
how many toes that Maya Brown has sucked in the
I was
last
not prepared for toes
month?
today.
No?
No, and that number would be very high. But The actual
I
category
can't look
today.
Molly in the eye ever again. I wish you would not have told me this.
Imagine sitting there for 30 minutes while they talked about this. All right, anyways. Jim, notably this Final Four, UConn, NC State, both making the Final Four in the men's and women's
I
tournament.
saw that. That's very cool. Yep.
First time for NC State, but throughout history, there have been 11 schools that have reached the men's and women's Final Four in the same year.
Okay.
So this obviously is going to include UConn and NC State. So what do we think Strofe could get for an over-under of the other? We're going to go all 11 schools. We're not going to mention the UConn and NC State part for him.
Okay.
But he should know those, so there should be 2 easy ones.
Man, I'm again, I do the same thing I do with Matt. I'm trying to think how many I could rip off the top of my head. But I got to give Alex, just the science behind it. Alex is better at this than Matt.
And he's a college basketball guy.
He's a college basketball guy. So those 2 things I'm going to factor in. I feel like I got 3 or 4 off the top of my head, so I'm going to add the Strofe factor of 1, just being better at it. So I'll put it at 6, and then being a college basketball fan, I'm going to put it at 6.5. You think that's low?
No, I think that's high, if I'm being honest. I think I always try to reel us back in, but the last few times I've done that, I've really messed it up on this one.
I think he's
going to
hit 6, but I'm going to go 6.5 because I'm going to give him benefit of the doubt as the basketball guy.
All right, I like it. All right,
We're basically is he a liar?
Is he a liar about being a basketball guy?
He hypes himself up as it.
Yes.
I think, again, I would say if it was Matt, I'd be 3.5 or 4. And so I'm going to give Strofe 2 because Strofe's just better at this. And then because of the basketball hype, I'm giving him 1 more.
See if he's a real basketball guy.
That's how I came up with it.
That's exactly what I wanted out of today. All right, so then for callers, well, there's 10 toes. Let's go callers.
5 and 10.
5 and 10. There we go.
Caller 5 and caller number 10, 844-770-3776. Caller number 5 and caller number 10. You are entered into Minute to Win It, which means you'll at least win a $25 gift card to North and South Seafood and Smokehouse, maybe a $50 gift card to North and South Seafood and Smokehouse. Caller number 5, caller number 10, 844-770-3776. Caller number 5, caller number 10. You at least get a $25 gift card to North and South Seafood and Smokehouse. You might get a $50 gift card to North and South Seafood and Smokehouse. Caller number 5 and caller number 10, 844-770-3776. This is Rutledge and Hamilton, presented by Coors Light.
This is Rutledge and Hamilton with Jim Rutledge and 2-time 2024 National Curling Champion Matt Hamilton on 100.5 ESPN and Wisconsin On Demand. Rah. Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin present your Badger Minute. Here's Alex Strofe.
This Badger Minute brought to you by Starry on Bank with 3 Madison area locations in Middleton, Sun Prairie, and Monona. Starry on Bank is here investing in your community. Start your experience by going to starryonbank.com. Member FDIC. 5 players from this past season's Wisconsin Badgers women's hockey team will represent the United States at the Women's World Championships coming up later this month. Forwards Britta Curl, Lacey Eden, Layla Edwards, and Kirsten Sims will be joined by teammate defender Caroline Harvey and former UW star Hillary Knight on this year's U.S. team at the International Ice Hockey Federation Women's World Championships. The games begin Wednesday with the championship played in Utica, New York on April 14th.
Badger Minutes on ESPN Wisconsin are brought to you by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin. Schedule an appointment online today at PellaWI.com.
Cousin Subs was founded in Milwaukee, Wisconsin in 1972 and has been a member of the Madison community for decades. This year, Cousins has expanded their footprint in the Madison area by opening new locations in Stoughton and Sun Prairie, in addition to existing locations on East Washington Avenue, Monona, and Lodi. Order your favorite subs online or via our app for delivery or pickup. Eat in or grab them to go through our drive-thru for a better sub experience. Cousin Subs, we believe in better.
Hey, it's Hunter Vaughn. ESPN Madison and Zimbrick Honda are celebrating the area's best high school sports stories with the Game Changers of the Month. Follow ESPN Madison on social media to see teams making an impact in their community. Nominate your local team today at ESPNMadisonGameChangers.com.
Join the Madison Money Guy, Christian Finfrock, for Retirement Income Strategies, Saturday and Sunday mornings at 7. Get the information you need as you plan for retirement. That's Retirement Income Strategies, Saturday and Sunday mornings at 7. Investment advisory services offer the Retirement Income Strategies, an SEC-registered investment advisor.
Mark Tosha here for Chalmers Jewelers. I've been a big fan of Scott and Garrett and the whole team at Chalmers Jewelers for years now. I go there, my friends go there, and most importantly, my wife loves it whenever I get her something from Chalmers Jewelers. Well, what's right around the corner? Mother's Day. Show some love to the incredible women in your life and stop at Chalmers Jewelers, the place to go for that perfect gift. I recommend Chalmers Jewelers in Middleton and Madison.
Chalmers Jewelers in Middleton
and Madison.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-6759. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. There is zero risk to you. If we can't reduce your tax debt, then you pay nothing. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have a 5-star rating on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-575-6759. That's 800-575-6759. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
You're listening to Rutledge and Hamilton on 100.5 ESPN. Brought to you by Ho-Chunk Gaming Madison.
There's a swing outside on the porch where I feel I could rock away the dust till the dawn. And even though the wind
My beard is getting a little long. I have to take care of it probably tonight or tomorrow. Honestly, the big hold up is I'm getting a haircut. I'll get to it. Why? So you get a big face over your Alex Stroh. For those who see it on YouTube. So, but this is a beard that I think would do well at the Yonder Mountain String Band.
Oh, sure.
Show. They are. It was an entertaining time. I didn't know any of their songs. My brother was a big fan, but it's one of those things that you can just go and have a good time at. Like Dave Matthews. Like Dave Matthews Band was one of those things where I never liked Dave Matthews because his fans were so obnoxious in their love for Dave Matthews. I'm like, I can't be a part of this cult. But then here's what happens. You end up dating someone. She was super into Dave Matthews. So I go, you partake, have a good time, and then all right, it's not bad.
It's fair.
And so Yonder Mountain was one of them as well. He's Alex Stroh. I'm Jim Rutledge. This is Rutledge and Hamilton. We're going to get the minute to win it in a second. But the two entries, they already won. They get a $25 or a $50 gift card, North South Seafood Smokehouse. Try one of their 3 locations. You can do with Krabby Tuesdays. You can do, they have beer can chicken on Sundays at the one in Verona. There's so many great specials going on. A family-friendly place. You can have it delivered. You can have it catered. You can go there and have a great meal. It doesn't really matter how you're going to consume North or South Seafood and Smokehouse or any one of the locations. It's going to be amazing. So go check out North or South Seafood and Smokehouse in Madison, Verona, or DeForest the next time you are thinking about going to get a bite to eat with the family. Alrighty, let's play Minute to Win It.
Will Matt beat the odds?
I say everything with pure confidence, whether I think I'm totally right or not.
Or crumble under pressure?
Same here.
Pressure.
This is the Minute to Win It, presented by North and South Seafood and Smokehouse, with 3 locations in Madison, DeForest, and Verona.
All right, guys. So
Did you
today,
just shush Riley?
Well, he's currently on the phone with a caller, but we do have to run the segment here, so we didn't want him in the background. Look.
Okay, I was just curious.
We already have our 2 contestants today. I wasn't trying to be that mean to Riley.
Yeah, you just gave him a shush when you cracked your mic. I was like, what the hell's going on?
Zip it.
All right, I'm ready.
All right, guys. Stroh, you claim to be a basketball guy, NBA guy, college hoops guy. Mm-hmm. So I want to know, one of the bigger stats this NCAA tournament, come out this past week actually, is that there have been 11 schools that have reached the men's and women's Final Four in the same year. All right, so I'm sure you know the reason for why that is, but I won't reveal that until we start the timer for you. All right, Stroh.
So hold on. It's any year. It just needs to be the schools need to reach it in the same year.
They reach the Final Four in the same year. Correct.
Oh my God, this is gonna be brutal. Okay, what's the over under? Or do I not get to know that?
You'll find out afterwards.
I don't get to know that.
No,
I'll say this:
fun.
I believed in you because you said you're a college basketball guy.
I'll do my best. I'm just gonna pick Blue Bloods, but yeah, let's do it.
All right, your timer starts now.
All right, let's knock out the one this year. NC State.
NC State. This is their first
Actually, there's
time.
2 this year.
Correct.
UConn is the other.
Well done. UConn's done it 5 times, by the way.
Yeah, that's what I figured. Several times. Okay, those are the only 2 I had. I'm just trying to think. I don't know women's basketball super well because I just started watching within the last few years. What are the powerhouses there outside of UConn? Let's go with, there's got to be a California school in there. UCLA?
UCLA? Not there, unfortunately.
How about USC? Let's give it a shot.
Wrong again there, sir. The Pac-12 not well represented in this one.
Okay, that's a good hint. Thank you. Is the ACC well represented?
Yeah, there's a few ACCs.
Okay, how about Miami?
All right, well, that was a quick one for Alex Strofe. Today, he got 3 incorrect.
LSU?
LSU is up there, yes. They did in 2006.
Yeah.
Okay.
Was that Tyus Edmonds?
I mean, I could have gone.
Don't ask me.
Okay.
I could have gone Blue
Tyus
Bloods.
Thomas.
Like, is Duke, Kansas, or Kentucky on there?
Duke is the only of those 3, actually.
How about North Carolina?
North Carolina, surprisingly not on the list because they are well known, obviously, as a men's basketball school with Michael Jordan, bevy of Hall of Famers, and great women's basketball. Not on the list somehow.
Baylor.
Oh, good guess.
Also not on the list.
That's a really hard list.
Yeah, let me think here. So out east, is there Upper East Coast teams or not?
Upper East Coast, no, not really. Well, one's Upper East Coast, but inland, I'll say. Very whiny school. A little too much orange.
Syracuse?
Syracuse,
That was one I was going to
yeah.
actually just say, yeah.
So now ACC, probably Big East at the time. They did it in they did it in 2016, so they were ACC.
Okay. Yeah, that's brutal.
What about Texas?
Texas, also on the list.
Wow, good
yes,
get.
2003. So that's a long time ago, but yes.
Illinois is not on there, are they?
No, Illinois is not.
I feel like Texas Tech. No, but the men's team doesn't have a good team. It's like the
No, they
women's
do
team.
not. No, they do not. You know who has a great team, men's and women's, in the SEC? South Carolina.
Oh, I was going to guess them, but I didn't know
I
that
didn't
the
know
men's
the
would be
men's.
in there.
I knew the women's.
Remember they went on that crazy run to the Final Four?
No.
Right? 7 years ago, 2017. Remember they all jumped in that big water fountain on campus? Come on.
Oh,
wow,
yeah.
that one is.
Yeah, that
was
was
a blind
actually
spot
one of
for
the
me.
first ones in my mind, and I was just like, I don't think their men's team has been good enough.
All right, well, another
That was
school
brutal.
whose men's team has not been good in a long time for, shall we say, unscrupulous reasons. Louisville in 2013 when Slick Rick was still there.
Slick Rick.
And then Michigan State in 2005, actually.
Oh.
I don't know how good their women's program is these days, but obviously the men's team been in the Final Four multiple times. Oklahoma back in 2002 as well.
Wow.
And then
was 3.
What's that?
I was 3.
Well, I'm not saying it was going to be easy for you, Stroke.
What was the line?
Well, hold on. There's one more. By far the hardest one, nobody was going to get this. 1983, Georgia. Both teams lost in the Final Four that year. That was the one I knew, no chance.
I gave you 6.5.
Yeah.
Holy smokes, Jay.
Yeah.
Well, you said you're a college basketball guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, you think this is a stat I study?
Well, here's how I came up with it. I
in
said
the news.
that I felt like for me, I could pull maybe 4 or 5, and then I figured I usually knock Matt down 1 from those, and then for you, I figured I'd add 2, and then I said you're a big college basketball guy, so I gave you 1 more.
I love Jim's handicapping. Yes.
Yeah, that's insane. I got
But
2.
I'm much better at math than I am stroke.
You are. You know,
the,
Matt.
The strike rule is brutal.
It is
because
tough.
there's 230 colleges to pick from here.
I knew this was going to be a tough one. I did.
I think the mistake you made, though, because when I was guessing right, was you were thinking too much about the women's. I think it's more of like who from the men's is always there, and then maybe you luck
But
out.
Kansas and Kentucky aren't there.
Yeah, but you had
UNC's
Duke.
not
You
there.
had Duke. USC's never there for the men's.
USC hasn't been there since, for men's?
It's been a minute.
I mean, they had Cheryl Miller, and they're like
But
one of the great
I figured,
women's.
1986, I think, is when they won the national championship. I don't know. I was just thinking of, I don't know what my strategy was.
Syracuse
I
would have
didn't
been a
have
good
one.
one. Syracuse made sense. I'm surprised Jim
Big
just pulled
schools.
LSU.
Yeah,
I don't know why you
poll.
even thought of LSU.
I thought about saying them as well.
I know they have a really good women's team, and I thought they
Fair.
had one team that made a run.
Fair.
What year was it?
It was
06.
2006.
2006 LSU. I honestly think it has to do with the NBA draft.
Fair.
And that's
So,
what I was kind of.
I gotta be honest.
Hold on, hold
that's
on.
not your best work.
Oh, not my best
Oh,
work.
That's brutal.
Oh, no. I
hard.
think we just proved that Jim's a bigger basketball guy than Alex Stroh.
Oh, but he didn't get any strikes. You
Oh,
put
but
him
that's
on the
fair.
clock.
But he only had 2 strikes,
See,
and
that's
he
what I
rattled
thought.
off like 3 or 4.
I think Big Baby was on the team.
Oh, Glenn Davis.
Yeah.
Okay.
Shout out. Orlando Magic legend.
Shout out the real basketball guy in the panel, Jim Rutledge.
Whatever,
The
dude.
that team was loaded. Tyrus Thomas. Do you guys know?
I don't know who that.
Lottery pick for the Bulls.
I mean, geez, Jim.
Garrett Temple played
He's
in.
staring at the roster.
He's like an aficionado. Look at this guy.
But I nailed that team. That's all I'm saying. 3 NBA guys on the team. Back in the day, back in my day, NBA players actually played college basketball. This is Rutledge Hamilton, presented by Coors Light.
Hey everyone, Molly Brown from ESPN Madison here. For the best Southwestern food in the Madison area, it's always Pasquale's Cantina for me and my family. Whether I'm enjoying my favorite taco salad, their awesome chips and guac, or one of their famous burritos, Pasquale's is the best for authentic Southwestern fare. Visit one of their locations in Verona or Middleton today, or check out their menu and order online at pasqualescantina.com.
bringing the flavors of the Southwest to the Midwest. Pasquale's Cantina.
Hi, this is Dave Kane. You're listening to Madison's Home of the Bucks, a good Karma brand radio station, 100.5 ESPN WTLX, Monona, Madison.
Broadcasting live from the Everlight Solar Studio, this is your Metro Kia of Madison Sports Center.
Good evening, Madison. My name is Riley Yauk, and this is your Sports Center update brought to you by ESPN Madison on YouTube. Subscribe to watch all your favorite daily shows. Mr. Irrelevant with Alex Strofe, exclusively streaming every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, and special featured content. Subscribe today to watch ESPN Madison on YouTube. The Milwaukee Bucks looking to rebound tonight against the Memphis Grizzlies. Fortunately, though, they're going to be a little short-handed as Damian Lillard, Chris Middleton, and Pat Bev are all listed as outs for the game this evening. Regardless, though, tip-off scheduled for 7 p.m. with pregame coverage starting at 6:30 right here on Madison's exclusive home for Bucks basketball, 100.5 ESPN. And then moving on to the Milwaukee Brewers. They took care of business yesterday against the Twins, winning on opening day 3-2, but unfortunately their 162-0 season will come to an end this afternoon as they fell just a few short hours ago by a score of 7-3. On a positive note, though, Jackson Chourio hit his first big league home run. He's the youngest Brewer to do it since Gary Sheffield, and the youngest in the MLB since Juan Soto.
Metro Kia of Madison, Madison's trusted Kia dealer. Stop into Metro Kia on the east side of Madison or metrokiaofmadison.com.
You got the chill.
Everybody's ego takes a shot on this show.
This is Rutledge and Hamilton with Jim Rutledge and Matt Hamilton.
People like me.
That's some booty, Jim.
Presented by Coors Light on 100.5 ESPN.
Ladies and gentlemen, coming to the stage. I'm just not ready to crown his ass.
I'm ready to crown him.
You're premature.
Premature coronation.
Yeah, that's not uncommon.
Even if it was like a quote tweet.
I like quote tweets. Facts don't lie.
The next day, he's like, my Achilles feels pain, and that dolphin's pregnant.
I don't know what exactly all happened
Broadcasting
there,
live from the Everlight Solar Studio with
no idea. Irrelevant.
Here's Jim Rutledge.
Mark Tauscher is going to join the show around 5:30. If you missed any of the first hour of the show, you can listen back Wisconsin on Demand, Apple, Spotify, any of those great places. I am Jim Rutledge. He is Alex Strofe. This is Rutledge and Hamilton, presented by Coors Light. If the mountains are blue, you know what to do.
And that's crushed to Coors Light.
We
Just
are
like
live.
Riley crushed the Juan Soto reference.
He did, even with us in his ear yelling about it. We are live from the Everlight Solar Studio. And we're going to talk to Tauscher about our poll question. Yep. After the Texans traded for Stephon Diggs today, which team is more likely to make the Super Bowl next? The Packers or the Texans? 63% of people say the Packers, 37% say Texans, which, again, for my, obviously we're in Wisconsin scale, that feels like a 50-50 poll. Because
take that for that.
There's a lot of homerism there. I understand the KC argument that the AFC is tougher to get through.
Yep.
But I think the Texans have a better roster, and on a developmental scale, C.J. Stroud could be poised to end up being a better quarterback than Jordan Love, because C.J. Stroud, what do we always say with young players? What are we all saying about the Packers' young players right now, all the rookies? Well, they're going to be better in their second year because they don't have to deal with all the rookie draft stuff and trying to learn everything on the fly and adjust to the lifestyle. Well, that was C.J. Stroud's rookie year, and he took the team to the playoffs and put up nearly identical numbers or close numbers to Jordan Love. And now C.J. Stroud should be ready to make that big sophomore jump that we're all expecting Packer players to make.
Yeah,
rightfully so.
So, I mean, when you look at the offense, it's probably a toss-up at quarterback, right? Stroud versus Love. I'll just call it a toss-up. At running back, you'll take Jacobs over Mixon. At wide receiver, you're probably taking the let's call it the thruple, the threesome of Stephon Diggs, Nico Collins, and Tank Dell over Christian Watson, Romeo Doubs.
I would like to point out
Reed.
that Joe Mixon was a more productive running back than Josh Jacobs, I think, as a receiver and running back last year.
But the year prior, Josh Jacobs was a first-team All-Pro.
True, but in 2 years before, the year prior to that, Joe Mixon was a hell of a player
But
again.
Jacobs is younger also. I mean, he's got more tread.
How old is Jacobs?
24, 25, 26 maybe? Just turned 26, I think.
Yeah, Joe Mixon's 27. So, again, they're closer than you think.
They are close, actually. It is a good point. But nonetheless.
I'll give you Jacobs. But my thing with Jacobs is that I'll just ask this question. How much better are the Packers this year based on it? Not assuming, because we'll just assume every team is going to grow at the same rate.
Mm-hmm.
So the Texans young players are going to grow at the same rate the Packers grow at. So before the draft, which team got substantially better? Jacobs is an upgrade over Jones, but not a massive one. Jones is a hell of a player.
It's the Texans, given that we can't underrate the Danielle Hunter signing, which you brought up earlier. Now, the Xavier McKinney signing for the Packers, I would say equally as important.
That's very good.
Right? Just obviously a very different position. Offensively, when you add Stephon Diggs and Joe Mixon, you're just going to get better than a team that still is dealing with a bunch of second and third year guys.
Those two moves right there push to the Texans.
Yeah,
I'll give you the Hunter and McKinney washout.
Yeah, I'm curious in terms of offensive line. Like, I admittedly, I don't know much about the Texans' offensive line. The Packers have some holes to fill, and I assume they will do that via the draft. So I'd say more likely to get to a Super Bowl, I'd probably vote Packers because of the Chiefs factor. There's just better teams in the AFC. But the Texans are going to be in the mix. But when you think about Baltimore and Buffalo and Cincinnati, if Burrow is healthy all year, it's a tough division or tough conference. Their division just happens to be the easiest.
The Texans, much like the Packers, I don't know the Packers number off the top of my head, but the Texans have 21 combined picks over the next 3 drafts. They have 8 picks in just this draft alone.
I guess the Packers have more than that because they have 11 this year.
True, but I mean, I'm just saying the Texans, they're not thin on picks. And they have 8 this year alone.
And this is after the draft or after the trade for Diggs? Do you know if that number is updated or not? I mean, regardless,
they didn't give up a pick in this year's draft. That was 2025. Yes.
Yeah.
So maybe they have 20 picks over the next few years, but they are, and the Packers at 11 picks is kind of worthless outside unless they're trading them. Like, you're not going to add 11 players to your roster or even to your
right.
So I mean, like 8's probably too many. Like, the number of players out of a draft that you're actually going to be able to roster, best case scenario is probably 6. And for the Packers and the Texans, that number's going to get smaller because they're good teams. Mm-hmm. So that number's probably going to be even smaller than that. You put a few on the practice squad. And so we don't know which ones are going to hit. I don't think it's great the Packers have 11 picks, but I think the biggest advantage of those is they're going to probably package those. Hopefully, if I'm a Packers fan, I want them to package those picks somewhere to go get someone with some conviction, whether it's in the first or second round, and be like, I got to have this guy. You have all these picks. That's why you have them, is to go say, you know what? I need this player, and I need them badly. Like, they could go, you know what? Rome Odunze's fallen to 8. I need him.
Rome Odunze meeting with the Bears tomorrow.
He is. Malik Neighbor. Marvin Harrison slips to 6. I need Marvin.
Yeah.
And this is the part that kind of, and I get the Packer fans, and right, you're just going to love what your team does. I understand that. But it is the outlier. It is not the norm consistently to be able to win without a premier wide receiver. Because I asked this question earlier today on my own Twitter, at Jim Rutledge, should the Packers trade for T. Higgins? 76% of people said no. And that, to me, is such a large number. T. Higgins is an incredibly productive player.
Yeah.
He is in his prime. We're not this would be a better addition, in my opinion, than adding Stephon Diggs or Keenan Allen. Keenan Allen went to Chicago to go play with Caleb Williams, and the Texans added Diggs to play with C.J. Stroud. Adding T. Higgins, that's the conventional wisdom. Like, the Packers are bucking conventional wisdom at the moment because you know what you can make a case for? Jordan Love up and down, not his fault. He just needs a more consistent guy that he knows he always can, that is always going to be open. It is the norm. The Chiefs have Kelsey. They've always had Kelsey. Yep. They lost Tyreek Hill, but what did they do when they lost Tyreek Hill? They did go try to get MVS, and they signed Juju Smith-Schuster for a year. And those guys worked out, and it worked out fine. This year they went and they let MVS go. They're bringing in Hollywood Brown from the Cardinals. So they don't go out and say, and they drafted Rashid Rice. They don't just say, oh, we're just going to roll with it.
What's Rashid Rice?
Well, that's a whole other thing. Yes, that is awful. What's going on with him? But
Might
then
not work out. No.
You look at they still made the effort for it. They got the Super Bowl. They made the pick. Yeah. So the 49ers, they had Ayuk. They have Samuel. McCaffrey's a weapon for the Tyreek Hill type guy for the 49ers. Like, all these teams say we need a guy to unlock the full offense. Like, you look at the premier team, the Eagles, young QB, A.J. Brown, everyone, Tua, Tyreek Hill. That is the conventional wisdom. It is not, let's just throw a bunch of guys out there and hope they all develop. If the Packers are serious about trying to win a Super Bowl in this Jordan Love window, you could get T. Higgins and probably structure his contract that his big money lands before these young guys get paid. Like, you could get him, give up draft capital, and build his contract that you can work around Jordan Love's deal, because some of those young guys you might like at receiver or other positions, they're not going to get paid for a little bit.
So I get the concept of the argument, right? Like,
Yeah, adding T. Higgins is just an upgrade. When you look at what Houston did, they had 2 breakout receivers last year in Dell and Collins, and adding a guy like Stephon Diggs, who's a bona fide all-pro option, it increases, the potency of their offense. I get that argument every day of the week. But I lean more to the school of, hey, this Brian Gutekunst youth movement / Matt LaFleur not having a true number 1 receiver might be beneficial for their offense. Because I don't think that, you're necessarily targeting Dontavian Wicks, and saying, hey, we got to double team him all game. Or you're looking at a Jaden Reed and saying, hey, we need to double team him. Where the Texans are subscribing to the school of, hey, man, you can double team Stephon Diggs, but we still got Dell, we still got Collins, we still got Dalton Schultz. We're going to beat you by a million, death by a million paper cuts. Where the Packers can kind of do the same thing, but they don't have a bona fide stud. They don't have a bona fide all-pro. And I think that can work, too.
But it hasn't.
It worked. I mean, you point out Kelsey, but other than him, the Chiefs had nobody.
But that's my point. Like, you still had Kelsey. Other than that, Mrs. Lincoln, how was the play?
Right, but I'm more looking at wide receiver running back, where the Packers are stacked at those positions with young guys who are only going to get better.
Okay, but but the Chiefs still looked at it, and they won the Super Bowl and said we needed someone else. Like, we had to work too hard to get points last year. So how they added Hollywood Brown. The Bills they moved away from Diggs. I'm guessing they're going to add a receiver in this draft, but they have Gabe Davis and they have Dalton.
They no longer have Gabe Davis.
They don't.
He signed with the Jaguars.
So they do need to build out.
They have Dalton Kincaid, the tight end, though.
Yes, and they do need to build out their wide receiver.
They'll draft a wide receiver.
I guarantee they're going to draft wide receivers in this draft. The Dolphins, Tyreek Hill, and then
Jalen
Waddle. The Chiefs obviously just added Hollywood Brown. The Raiders are keeping Devontae Adams because they are bringing in young QBs, so they're like, we want to keep Devontae around. The Browns went and got Jerry Jeudy, right?
I believe that's correct.
And then the Ravens, they've been very vocal about needing to add players. They added players who have gotten Zay Flowers, would have been the guy that really has made a big thing for them offensively last year. They went and drafted him. They said, we need to get a guy. And then they have Mark Andrews. They have the tight end. The Texans obviously just added. So I'm just looking at the top teams. They just added their guy. The Jaguars had Calvin Ridley for Trevor Lawrence. They let that deal, but they went and got their guy. So the best teams in football, the AFC side of it, went and added a guy. The Cowboys, CeeDee Lamb?
They have CeeDee Lamb's their star.
Yes, and then the Eagles have a couple guys. The Giants right now, they say, Giants, what are they going to do? They're going to draft one of those wide receivers. They need to add to it. The Cardinals, they have Kyler Murray. What are they going to do? They're going to go draft Marvin Harrison. The Seahawks have DK Metcalf. The Rams.
And Tyler Lockett.
What's the
Cooper
guy?
Kupp?
No,
Puka Nacua.
Puka Nacua.
Greatest
the
name in the
49ers
NFL.
add some players. The Lions have St. Brown. The Vikings have Justin Jefferson and the tight end they got from the
T.J. Hawkinson. And they have the young stud,
Jordan
Addison
Addison.
College.
Yes,
Yes.
So
that's
USC,
Zay Flowers with the Boston College. We have thrown out a lot of names.
Jordan Addison. But my point is, all these teams, like the conventional wisdom is, now the Packers, the case would be, we think one of these guys is going to break out next year.
3 of these guys.
Right. They're the ones
when Christian Watson's on the field, you can tell the difference he makes vertically.
But he's
Dontavian Wicks is the best true route runner. He could be the true Davante Adams type. Jaden Reed's a weapon. They got 2 young tight ends who both had flashy plays and starts and games last year.
So the question is, are they the one team that's figured out where they've drafted all these guys and it's all going to click, or it's going to be
that's clearly
these guys
hope.
are all.
And I understand hope is not a strategy, but that's clearly the hope.
But wouldn't it make more? Wouldn't you just want to? If you're trying to win. And we're going to talk to Tyler in a little bit here. If the stakes are high and you need to now win because the success you had last year, they're no longer the plucky, young, fun team. They need to go win. Wouldn't you want to stack the odds in your favor?
I don't know that T. Higgins raises the bar quite like Stephon Diggs does. Right? Stephon Diggs is a much better wide receiver than T. Higgins is. He's what, like a 4-time All-Pro?
4-time All-Pro, but he's also 6 years older.
Yeah, T. Higgins is 25.
60 years old.
No, he's 30. He's 30. He's not in NFL
halfway
years.
Halfway there.
Based on his healthy seasons, T. Higgins is going to give you 75 catches for 1,000 yards, 7 touchdowns.
And that was as the number 2 to Jamar Chase.
Other than his rookie year, yeah.
Yeah. When Joe Burrow was not healthy.
Correct. But he was the only receiver there.
But you average out his stats. Last year, I don't think he was healthy for the whole year. You average out his stats, and he's going to give you 15 yards a catch.
Yeah, I mean, obviously health plays a factor too. But I don't know. I don't know what the answer is. Because I think when the way the Packers are viewing it, which I assume the Texans are too after year one of C.J. Stroud, is, okay, you have a perennial Pro Bowler quarterback, right? So you have somebody that is going to raise the floor for you no matter what the pieces are in your offense. When you look at Jordan Love, he clearly elevated these young guys' play. He did, right? When you look at Jaden Reed, who had no experience. When you look at Dontavian Wicks, who had no experience. When you look at Bo Melton, who had no experience. He raised those guys' games. Tucker Kraft and Luke Musgrave. I almost called him Tucker Musgrave because we were stuck on country music earlier. Shout out to Casey. I don't know. I don't know what the right answer is, but I can say the Packers' strategy is in good shape. Right? Like, this is clearly not a team that's going to fall by the wayside just because they aren't going to trade for T. Higgins. They have a ton of talent and a ton of upside on their offense.
I just feel like, and Matt's a big part of this, we're going to be at the end of the year be like, man, they were just a guy short.
Well,
like, this is always always their strategy, and it's always like the young guys will just come through.
But this strategy is a lot different than like Devontae Adams' years, right? Like, because that last year of Rodgers and Adams.
Where did they get with Devontae Adams? Where were they consistently when they had Rodgers and Devontae
Divisional
Adams?
round of the championship. I agree with you, Jim. But my point is,
what is the goal?
Last year, of course, the Super Bowl, the 21-22 year, 22 playoffs, 21 football season. They had nobody behind Adams. Where that's not the case with these teams, right? You had Bo Melton games last year.
Here's what I don't like. I don't like whether any team I'm rooting for. I don't like my team thinking that they're smarter than everyone else, that they're going to buck conventional wisdom. That, more often than not, fails.
I agree.
And here's my point for it. I get your T. Higgins thing. The Packers have the draft capital and the young players in place to take a swing and miss.
The case I will make, Jim, case I will make. The Patriots won 6 Super Bowls. Name the best receivers from those teams.
Randy Moss, Rob Gronkowski, Aaron Hernandez.
Tight end.
Amazing.
Did Randy Moss win a Super Bowl with them?
He might not have won it.
He did not, but Julian Edelman won a few.
Julian Edelman.
Wes Welker. But those guys put up 100 and some catches every year.
But were those Hall of Fame receivers?
Who was their quarterback?
Tom Brady.
Thank you. This is Rutledge and Hamilton.
Jordan loves Tom
Light.
Brady. What do you mean?
You're listening to Rutledge and Hamilton, presented by Coors Light. The mountains are blue, and we can prove it. Follow the show on Twitter at Jim and Matt.
What does it take to make a diamond? Extreme heat and pressure and about 1 billion years. But you can't wait that long. What do? You go to Goodman's Jewelers. I'm John Hayes from Goodman's Jewelers. There's a reason we are the Diamond Store of Madison. Since 1933, we provided outstanding service and selection to our customers, and that in turn has helped to establish countless great memories through the years. GoodmansJewelers.com, located at 220 State Street, truly a destination worth reaching.
Step into nostalgia with the Miller High Life Dive Bar of the Week. Listen to Rutledge and Hamilton every Thursday, and we will let you know where you can enjoy $2 Miller High Lifes. To celebrate our love for dive bars, me and Matt are going to tell you about some of our favorites, featuring one extra special dive bar that will have $2 High Lifes on special for the week. Taste the champagne of beer in its natural environment. A delightfully different dive bar in Wisconsin, like Rip's Bar in Wanakee, Paul's Neighborhood Bar, Villa Tap, and Nitty Gritty in Sun Prairie.
Metro Ford of Madison is Madison's trusted Ford dealership. Whether you're in the market for a new or new-to-you vehicle, Metro Ford of Madison has the customer service that's second to none. Metro Ford is also the home of the 2 years no-charge maintenance offer on new vehicle purchases, making it the place to go for the new Ford of your dreams. Browse their inventory, schedule a service, or see this month's offers at MetroFordofMadison.com. That's MetroFordofMadison.com.
At Starion Bank, they pride themselves on being a super community bank. Small enough to show they care about you and the communities they serve, while being large enough to make big things happen. With 3 Madison area branches in Middleton, Sun Prairie, and Monona, Starion Bank is here investing in your community while offering valuable personal and business banking services. Start your experience with Starion Bank today by going to starionbank.com. Member FDIC.
Life's better with American Family Insurance because our home policies help protect your dreams and come with peace of mind. Save up to 25% by bundling home, auto, and life. American Family Insurance. Get a quote, find an agent at amfam.com.
Products not available in every state. Discounts may not apply to all coverages on an auto or home policy. Discounts do not apply to life insurance policies. Visit amfam.com to learn how discounts may apply to you. American Family Mutual Insurance Company, SI, and its operating companies, American Family Life Insurance Company, 6000 American Parkway, Madison, Wisconsin.
The area's best high school sports coverage is Zimbrick Honda's presentation of Prep Mania.
And after 4 overtimes, we finally figure out the first team in the Division I state final. 99-95 our score. Arrowhead Warhawks.
Simbrick Honda's Prep Mania is also brought to you by Canopy Wealth Management, Pasquale's Cantina, UW Credit Union, Stoughton Trailers, the GRB Academy, and Stoughton Health.
LabCorp Clinical Trials is changing to a new name, Fortrea. While the name may be different, Fortrea combines decades of great experience and professionalism with new opportunities for clinical trial participation. It's more than a mission and more than a new name. Fortrea is dedicated to moving healthcare forward. To learn more about the future of healthcare and upcoming clinical trials, visit us at FortreaClinicalTrials.com. That's FORTREA clinicaltrials.com.
Welcome back to Rutledge and Hamilton, presented by Coors Light on 100.5 ESPN. Also brought to you by J&K Security Solutions.
He's coming out, 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 he's coming out. It's there.
Rutledge and Hamilton continues live from the Everlight Solar Studio. Jim Rutledge, Alex Strope with you. I didn't see this big news earlier. The Seahawks named Joey Lane, the former salary cap analyst for the Green Bay Packers, as team's new vice president of football administration. I mean that's sarcastic. I'm sure he's really talented, and I'm sure he'll be missed, but I'm sure the Packers will be able to fill that hole.
Yeah. It's just, I was just going to say the Seahawks made the correct hire, and they've gone to this well before, right? Look at their current general manager, and John Schneider, right? He came from the Packers, and the Packers have always done it right. They've always been relevant, and that's because of the guys upstairs. So I have no further insight than that, James.
Good stuff. Are we going to throw some stones here?
We are scheduled to throw some stones.
No, well, according to this one, it says it's next segment.
Well, that was before Tausch changed times on us, remember?
Yeah.
That was the thing.
All right, let's throw some stones.
Wow, way to throw
The guys
Tausch under
think
the
they
bus.
have the answers to everything.
I'm the best there is.
People like me.
So it's time to put them to the test.
That's some booty, Jim.
You know, that's just like your opinion, man.
This is Throwing Stones, presented by Metro Kia of Madison, Madison's trusted Kia dealership.
Yeah, guys, we all know that sticks and stones may break our bones. And while I may have had what I thought was going to be a good story, good question to ask you guys, I have to pivot because there's some major news coming from Andrew Marchand of The Athletic. Apparently, college presidents and top executives have devised a quote-unquote super league to transform college football as they believe the current system is doomed and headed for bankruptcy, leaders tell The Athletic. This reporting with Stuart Mandel of The Athletic. I will say, as a diehard college football fan, this breaks my heart personally because I love the legacy and sort of pomp and circumstance that was college football. It seems like that could be going away with basically an NFL model for the college level. But I want to get your guys' initial reaction. Jim, first to you. What do you think about this news from Andrew Marchand?
Obviously, a lot to take in there, but I'll say this. I obviously used to host the Pat Richter show. So did you, Alex Strofe.
I did,
and
that's true.
Richter, I swear, 8 years ago was in front of this. He thought it would happen for college basketball more than football. He thought it was basketball more because I don't think he saw name and nobody saw name and likeness in the portal coming. But his whole thing was like college basketball with AAU, and it just seemed a dirtier sport than football. And it was just, and he just thought at some point college basketball would break off. There's so many more teams; it'd just be easier to do it. So I'm not shocked it happened. I mean, I'm not even shocked it's football anymore if this all ends up happening and it breaks off. And once you get over the past, it'll be fine. You're all going to enjoy it. You're still going to be your teams wearing your jerseys. The pomp and circumstance, they're going to do their best to keep it. It's just going to be phony. But you're like anything else, we're just going to embrace it, and minds adjust, people adjust, and you'll be in it. But I get the sadness for the days that have passed. It's just like we talked about with Guard and Badger basketball and any of this stuff with moving off of Paul Chris. Those days are gone, and you have to adapt. And so this is what's going to happen. I don't know if it'll be this thing, but something's going to happen. It's not going to exist as it currently is.
Yeah, the state of college athletics is just depressing, Ryan. You're totally right. And I mean, Jim nailed it. It's just I don't foresee this being the end-all, be-all, right? Like, more is going to come of this. I think this is a terrible idea. Goodbye rivalries, goodbye trophy games, depending on how the schedules break out.
It was already headed that direction, though, right? Like, I was never a huge fan of the idea of Washington, Oregon, USC, and UCLA in the Big Ten. It's a Midwest conference. Here come the Coasters. If that's what we call the Coasters. The Coastalers.
We putting our Coors Lights on them?
Yeah, put it right on USC. Yeah, look, it's just, it's sad. It's not what it's going to be. We watched the last Pac-12 tournament game in basketball a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, that's true.
It's dead as we knew it. It's going to continue to evolve. But hey, Ryan, at least we get a new NCAA football game this summer.
You know the reason everyone loves to play NCAA football? It's because there's 132 schools. It can be your own personal school, unique, close to home, regional, all the things people love about their school being involved. Now it's going to be 30 schools involved.
Yeah, it's bad. It's not good. 12-team playoff, by the way, too. Great.
12-team playoff, I don't mind.
Yeah, really?
I don't mind, but this,
I'm not a fan.
This I mind much more. But either way, you both try to talk me down off the ledge of my sadness. I don't appreciate it. I don't think you. Well, you both tried to rationalize it for me. I don't want any rational thought right now. I'm upset. All right,
sure.
But given that Strofe, you messed up coasters. You get it, I guess, for that one.
I get it.
Why not? I don't know.
I made him break, Jim. I pointed out last week that he has never crowned me the winner of throwing stones.
Oh,
this is a big moment in the show's history.
You gave me a chuckle. Thank you.
Right, you're welcome. The Coasters.
Yeah.
Well, congratulations on that. I just want to give a quick shout out to I don't know if it's a Green Bay basketball team or something. They tried to change their logo.
Well, I talked about this on Mr. Relevant today. It was UW Green Bay.
UW Green Bay.
Yeah.
You know what?
To
You
the
reap what
Pigeons.
you sow. You participated in the stupid April Fool's holiday, and they changed their logo and changed their thing as part of an April Fool's joke to the Pigeons. Is that what it was?
Pigeons, yeah, from the Phoenix.
And Twitter has stuck them with it. They were trying to change it, and Twitter has not allowed them to for some sort of weird reason, but not an ounce.
So happy.
Honestly, it makes me happy. I the opposite of feeling bad for them. I am ecstatic. I hope they have to I hope they have to create a whole new Twitter handle. That's my hope for them. This is Rutledge Hamilton. Mark Tauscher coming up next.
You're listening to Rutledge and Hamilton, presented by Coors Light. Need more of Judgmental Jim? Subscribe to the Rutledge and Hamilton podcast, presented by Revive Restoration, wherever you get your podcasts.
Hi, I'm Madison Money Guy, Christian Finfrock with Retirement Income Strategies. And what sets us apart is we're an independent, family-run office. We help clients like you understand the financial world and build a portfolio that's in your best interest. To learn more, go to MadisonMoneyGuy.com.
Transform your home with Ridgetop Exteriors. With over 22 years of service excellence, we specialize in roofing, siding, windows, doors, and gutters. Visit us today at RidgetopExteriors.com. That's RidgetopExteriors.com. Find your trusted, local, affordable partner here at Ridgetop Exteriors.
If you want a fresh twist on surf and turf, look no further than North and South Seafood and Smokehouse. Inspired by their time living in the Alaskan Gulf in southern Texas, owners Keith and Aaron brought together unique culinary backgrounds to create a truly authentic American restaurant here in Madison. After expanding to 2 more locations in DeForest and Verona, you can savor smoky, wood-fired barbecue and freshly prepared seafood from around the country. Explore their full menu and dining options at eatnorthandsouth.com. That's eatnorthandsouth.com.
Ben Brust here to tell you about Zimbrick European. They're Mercedes, Audi, Porsche, and certified pre-owned. But the best part is I've been working with them since 2018, and the evolution has been a 2-door, a 4-door, and now it's time for an SUV. My life has changed, and it's changed with Zimbrick European. Being a dad has made it really important to have the comfort and the safety that the SUV will bring me. Again, Zimbrick European off the Beltline at Rimrock Road. Of course, I found the sexiest car on the lot. Check them out.
Step into nostalgia with the Miller High Life Dive Bar of the Week. Listen to Rutledge and Hamilton every Thursday, and we will let you know where you can enjoy $2 Miller High Lifes. To celebrate our love for dive bars, me and Matt are going to tell you about some of our favorites, featuring one extra special dive bar that will have $2 High Lifes on special for the week. Taste the champagne of beer in its natural environment. A delightfully different dive bar in Wisconsin, like Rip's Bar in Wanakee, Paul's Neighborhood Bar, Villa Tap, and Nitty Gritty in Sun Prairie.
Since J&K Security Solutions opened in 1987, our attention to detail and customer service have been our strongest assets. I'm President Jeffrey Beckman. We'll always do our best to find the most efficient and cost-effective solution to every job we tackle. Whether it's security for your home or business, installing video surveillance, or being able to control your garage doors from your phone, we can help you feel empowered with simple and user-friendly technology. Let's work together to secure your home or business. jksecurity.com.
Green Bay Hall of Famer Mark Tauscher on Rutledge and Hamilton is brought to you by Chalmers Jewelers. Chalmers Jewelers, with locations in Middleton and downtown Madison.
I don't know if I'd agree with that, Jim Rutledge.
Green Bay Packers Hall of Famer.
Mark, I want to get to some of the Packers stuff here.
Just wait, what you just said there, that is an F.
Wisconsin football analyst.
Your analysis and your take was a big
It's 100% correct.
Because
Mark Tauscher on Rutledge and Hamilton is brought to you by Chalmers Jewelers. Chalmers Jewelers, with locations in Middleton and downtown Madison.
Mark Tauscher was on spring break. I was on spring break. I was on spring break with apparently most of Wisconsin down in Gatlinburg. There was so many plates down there that someone actually knocked on my window and said, "What's going on in Wisconsin?" And everyone is down here. And I said that basically most of the state's on spring break. So that's how many Wisconsin license plates were down in the Gatlinburg Pigeon Forge area. But Mark, I want to ask you this. I heard in the open there, you did the big fat F on my take. And that gave me like flashbacks to hosting with Derek Engler and Tarek Sala when I would say things they didn't like, which was often they'd say that gets an F, a big fat F. So is that like a Barry Alvarez thing, or is that a former football thing, or is that just pure coincidence? That gets a big fat F.
It's probably just a coincidence, but I'm sure you've heard it a bunch. So
oh,
maybe
absolutely.
It's just you with some of your takes that are not passing the mustard, but. I'm sure there's stuff that Derek, myself, Tark, when you are in a program for 4 or 5 years, you hear stuff, and it's very subliminal stuff that probably seeps out. So maybe that was something that Coach Alvarez did.
Does passing the mustard count as one of those? I've never heard. What does that mean?
That's just on Newstrofe. That's not a like.
Yeah, you're young.
Yeah,
you're young.
No,
that's not it.
Mark, I want to talk we'll talk some Packers with you, but this is a breaking news story from Andrew Marchand and Stuart Mandel. It's with The Athletic here, and I'm just going to read you the beginning paragraph here and kind of get your thoughts to it. College football. So one league is overseeing college football's highest level. No more conferences as we know it. Playoff berths being decided solely on the field. Promotion and regulation for smaller schools. Players being paid directly NIL, and the transfer portal managed. A group of influential leaders want to make this happen soon, and they are pitching it as the best way forward for a sport that they believe needs saving. So there's a lot more to the story, but hearing that beginning paragraph there, what are your thoughts on college football possibly going that way?
Yeah, I thought that was going to be the way that this thing is going to end up going, and I think it's going to be an ESPN and Fox. The TV money is going to drive this. But right now, what's happening is not sustainable, and I think, everybody is raving about women's college basketball and Caitlin Clark and how that's all going, which has been fantastic to watch. But I think another part of it is the men's game is so far gone because nobody is staying. There's no loyalty. Nobody knows any players. And the women's game, you know the players. Football is the same thing. Everybody is now, if you're doing anything at a smaller school, what is happening now is you're still recruiting, but guys are looking at the D2s, the FCS schools, and saying, "Oh, these guys are good players. Let's throw them a couple $100,000," and it's unlimited free agency. That system is not going to be tenable for a vast majority of these college programs, and I think everybody sees that. Now the question is, how are you going to work around all of these other things, Title IX and all the other non-revenue sports? How is that all going to work? There's so many question marks, but what's happening, and when we had Coach Alvarez on our show a couple weeks ago, he said it's just none of this is sustainable. Everybody knows it, and I think they're trying to figure out how you can manipulate or how you can figure out the football part of this needs to stand alone and then let everything else kind of go. And the players are going to need to end up having basically a CBA like the NFL to figure out how you split this revenue so that you're still able to keep it with the other college. There's so many question marks, but I do think this is the road you're going to end up seeing is football is just going to break away and do their own thing.
And I would imagine that if Barry Alvarez is talking about this, and that last thing you said about a CBA for the players or some sort of organization the players can negotiate with college football and create this league, that reminded me of something Chris McIntosh said at an event I was at where he basically said because this whole former NCAA system had got to the Supreme Court, all the rules were shattered, and unless something was collectively bargained with the players, you could not import restrictions on the portal or NIL or anything else. And so the only way to fix this going forward was to allow the players to create some sort of organization to have the right to negotiate to create some things that would be good for the good of the sport, just like in the NFL and NBA and everything else. So I'm imagining, do you kind of get the vibe that this is not catching any of these ADs off guard? And I think most people in the higher up positions in college football kind of assumed this was going to be coming in some way, shape, or form?
Yeah, I think for the first time in a while, I think the whole thing the last 7 or 8 years with the Ed O'Bannon lawsuit and some of the other stuff that Mac was talking about, I think you just needed to see that stuff shake out because the NCAA has known for a while that this was coming, and they haven't done anything, and that's why they've become completely limp. Like they have no power on anything. So now I think it's on the presidents, the TV folks, and the administrators to figure out how are we going to do this. This is the coaches are all miserable trying to figure this out, and you're having to recruit and. You're sitting there with spring ball going on, and then they can transfer out. If they don't get enough reps or if it doesn't go well or they don't think they're going to get enough reps for fall camp, it's not working here. Let's go somewhere else. And you're teaching a lot. There's so much bad stuff that's going on. But the good part is the players are gaining some power. That part, I think, is great because for too long it's been a one-sided deal. Now it's swung so far the other way. Can that business be sustainable? Because the last thing I want to see happen is players get all this and then there's nothing there because, for as much as you could think you're a great talent and you still need platforms to showcase it, and hopefully they figure that out because I just think there's so many programs that this is not going to be feasible to continue on if this is going to be a nonstop recruiting, fundraising, NIL. That's not going to be a sustainable route for a vast majority of these programs.
Yeah, I think you're so right, Taushi, and I agree with the point on, obviously the players getting some of the power and being able to capitalize on their NIL, but you just mentioned something. Coaches are miserable, right? You look at the Packers' new defensive coordinator, Jeff Hafley, takes a demotion of sorts, leaves being the head coach at Boston College to become a defensive coordinator. What's it going to take to slow this down? Like, are the coaches going to need to come together and kind of cause a revolt? I just don't know how you slow down everything that's happening within college athletics.
Yeah, it's not going to be a coach's thing. This is going to be administration, and this is going to be TV. This is going to, and then but the problem is this isn't going to be as easy as just saying, well, just form a CBA and do what the NFL did. Well, there's a lot of moving parts there. And when you start bringing in Title IX and all of the other stuff of being associated with universities, that's the part that is really tricky, and I don't think people know how to navigate it. I think you're going to see a lot of trial and error, and then what you hopefully will get is where you get courts that will sign off on things because let's say the Big Ten and the SEC think, let's just go break away, have all the football teams play each other, break this thing down, have a great little tournament, do it. Well, then what are you going to see from volleyball and some of the other schools? They'll say, well, no, this is all part of the Wisconsin program. This is all Tennessee. Everybody shares in it. Well, the football guys are going to say, well, why are we sharing in this when we're doing this? We're the ones bringing this in. It is a complicated puzzle that if they had answers, they would do it now because, again, all of this now has become so jumbled. And the problem is the NCAA let this happen by not being proactive. They were fighting until the entire thing collapsed, and now everybody is just running in and grabbing what they can. And instead of building something back up, it's going to take a long time to kind of clear that part of it out. I don't know how that's going to shake out.
Talking with Mark Tauscher about the news from Andrew Marchand and The Athletic overall, basically college presidents and top executives have devised a super league to transform college football as they believe the current system is doomed and headed for bankruptcy. That's on The Athletic. You touched on something earlier with college basketball, the women's side of things, and it is interesting. I do think part of the 12.3 million people watched Iowa versus LSU, which was more than some of the bowl games out there. So obviously there's a lot of draw to it, and I think part of it, and you touched on a little bit, because the the transferring is less in college basketball for women. They, I believe it's 3 years they are required to be playing in college basketball before they can go to the WNBA. And so you get to know these players more. And honestly, the NIL has kept these players in longer. It's honestly a success story for the NIL with the women's college basketball. But it honestly feels like women's college basketball, as far as the notoriety of the players and the people getting behind them, is where men's college basketball was like 10 years ago when you're like, I know all these players and I'm attached to them after being able to watch them for a few years.
Yeah, I mean, obviously Caitlin Clark is an absolute phenom and deserves all the credit, but this is more, the LSU component, the championship, Reese and UConn and, Paige, the whole thing. You want to be able to associate, and men's college basketball has been lost for a while.
Yep.
We obviously in 2014 with the Badger, that was because you had some veteran players. Now it's all one and dones, and the Wisconsin fans, Kentucky fans, you're going to root for your squad. But this year was the first year that I can remember I knew more women's college basketball players than I did men's, nationally. Outside of the Badger players and Zach Edey, I was going to have a hard time naming you another player. And that's a Duke player. Till that dude ended up fake tripping and fake injuring himself, I didn't know any Duke players. Whereas it was the women's side of it, you did. But because of the things you said, I think it has really helped. Obviously, the star power is built because you associate the players with a school. Those schools continue to grow. It used to be UConn and then everybody else. Everybody is starting to catch up, and they've built themselves up to something people can associate themselves, and it's not just 1 year. It's a build-up, and then it recycles back, and, this person's a sophomore. Oh, they're coming. That's how college basketball was, and when it was at its peak, and I think the women's game is just getting started when it comes to that.
Real quick, Tausch, you want to flip over to the Packers before we let you go? I heard you and Jason discussing it this morning on Wilde and Tausch, but LaFleur being caught off guard by the Josh Jacobs sighting and ultimately the Aaron Jones cutting from the Packers roster. Do you think there's a communication issue between those two? Because this isn't the first time something like this has popped up, right? When Jordan Love was drafted in 2020, some of the Aaron Rodgers stuff that went on. Or is this how it should be? They keep to themselves and each do their jobs and keep their head down. How do you view that?
No, I mean, I think you're talking about, there's two different objectives in this regard. I think you want to have a great team, and I think both guys are on board with that. But Matt LaFleur, I think, has to be player first. And he obviously has a high affinity for Aaron Jones. He wanted Aaron Jones back. And the general manager needs to look at the long-term benefits of the roster, too, along with the money and everything else. And Matt LaFleur doesn't. I mean, he has to understand where it's headed. But I think when Goody said in February or wherever it was that Aaron Jones was going to be back, I think Matt LaFleur thought the same thing that we thought, that, he's going to be back. And when that didn't happen, I think it happened quickly. I think Matt LaFleur was caught off guard a little bit. And I don't think the communication there is probably as great as they had hoped. But just talking to some people up there, I think a couple of years ago it was worse. I think with the way this last season played out, with both the talent that was brought in and the way Matt LaFleur was able to procure that and get that offense to be as good as it was at the end of the year, I think their whole relationship between Brian and Matt, where I thought maybe 2-3 years ago it wasn't very good, I think last year was, hey, this guy did a really good job getting us players, and Brian Gutekunst could look at it and say Matt LaFleur did a great job of bringing and growing and developing this group. So I think that relationship was getting better and better, and I think Matt LaFleur, if I had a guess, he would probably say I shouldn't have said what I'd said. I was not misquoted, but I kind of I just really wanted Aaron Jones back. It didn't work out, but I'm excited about Jacobs being here and ready to go. I think it was just more of a misstep, not as big of a deal as maybe everybody's making it out to be.
Mark, awesome. Thanks for joining the show, and good to have you back. Good to hear you.
You bet, guys.
All right, that's Mark Tauscher. Not happy to hear it. Not say good to hear us.
Well, you specifically.
Probably.
Thank you.
But
I didn't troll him today about how nice it must be for the Texans not to have to worry about paying their quarterback.
Yeah, I was surprised you didn't bring that up, but obviously this news from The Athletic pretty darn big, and he's one of the most informed voices any of us know.
Yeah, and I think the Texans will continue to prove that they're going to be in pretty good positions for
the
years
nice
to come.
The nice thing is, like, they're the underdog. I have nothing against the Houston Texans. I never have.
I root for them, in fact.
I do want to congratulate you on winning Stones earlier. I forgot. So congratulations on winning. Go be a winner. Go to Ho Chunk Gaming Madison. That's where winners go. Over millions of dollars won this year at Ho Chunk Gaming Madison. That's where winners go. Go to Ho Chunk Gaming Madison. The weather's terrible, but the winning is still good at Ho Chunk Gaming Madison. And Mark Tausch, you've missed it. That's brought to, it's on Wisconsin On Demand, Apple, Spotify, any of those great places. And, of course, Mark is brought to you by Chalmers Jewelers, Madison's custom jeweler. The Tauscher family goes there. The Rutledge family goes there. You should go there. Chalmers Jewelers in Madison and in Middleton. This is Rutledge and Hamilton. We'll wrap it up next.
This is Rutledge and Hamilton, presented by Coors Light. Watch every show live and for free on the ESPN Madison YouTube channel.
Texting enrolls you in recurring automated marketing text messages. Consent not required to purchase. Message and data rates may apply.
If you're a man over 40, feeling like you're falling off in your workouts, career, maybe even in the bedroom, it could be lower testosterone. But you can do something about it. Men across America have beaten the slump thanks to Nugenix Total T. Let's hear from some Nugenix callers. This is Ron from Dallas.
Unlike other supplements that might lead to jitters or crashes, Nugenix provides a steady increase in energy. I've experienced consistent energy levels throughout my workouts, helping me maintain the intensity from start to finish.
Frank from Chicago, you're on air.
It works, and it does everything everyone else is saying. I'm in my mid-40s. Sex drive improved, more energy, and I feel stronger.
Don't wait. Text BOSS to 321-321 right now for your complimentary bottle of Nugenix Total T. It's the #1 selling testosterone-boosting brand at GNC and Walmart. Do it now, and they'll also send you a bottle of Nugenix Thermo X, their newest, most powerful fat burner ever. Absolutely free. Text BOSS to 321-321. That's BOSS to 321-321.
These statements have not been evaluated by the FDA. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
Goodman's Jewelers has been providing the sparkle to Madison since 1933. That's a lot of great memories. John Hayes for Goodman's Jewelers. We've been caring for generations of customers, and during that time our strengths have been trust, service, and selection. Those traits are who we are, and that will never change. Goodman's Jewelers, a destination worth reaching. 220 State Street, goodmansjewelers.com.
The best is at Goodman's.
Condon Jewelers, the jeweler on the east side, the jeweler on your side. When you see Diamond Jim, you can count on him to be on your side. Selection beyond compare with on-site repair, so you can wear your jewelry with pride. Condon Jewelers, the jeweler on the east side, the jeweler on your side.
Ben Brust here to tell you about the Princeton Club. I joined the Princeton Club because I was looking for a place I could invest in my health, and the environment and the community I have felt has made it so easy for me to incorporate it into my everyday life. It doesn't matter where you're at in your fitness journey because they have something to offer everyone. It also goes beyond fitness. From the moment you walk in the club to the moment you walk out, there is a togetherness felt throughout the members and staff that keeps you going for your better tomorrow. Don't wait any longer and get started on your fitness journey today at PrincetonClub.net. That's PrincetonClub.net.
At Gruber Law Offices, we take great pride in helping those who have trusted us after a serious accident. Our team has the knowledge, resources, and experience to get you the results you deserve. Don't wait to get the help you need. Make the right call. Call Gruber Law Offices today. Proud partner of your Milwaukee Bucks. One call, that's all.
Great Dane Pub and Brewing Company is a Madison original, brewing award-winning craft beers for nearly 30 years. Whether you're a fan of Pilsners, IPAs, Stouts, or Sours, the Danes team of brewers always have something new on tap. Or if you're in the mood for a classic, enjoy the German Pilsner or Crop Circle Wheat. For a full tap list, head to one of their locations in Fitchburg, Hilldale, downtown, or East Madison, or visit GreatDanePub.com. Great Dane Pub and Brewing Company, Madison's original brew pub since 1994.
It's Chevy truck season, and there's no better time to do what you do best. No better time to get the job done in a Chevy Silverado with best-in-class standard torque and a TurboMax engine with a 5-year, 100,000-mile limited powertrain warranty that outlasts both Ford and Ram. So kick off whatever your thing is season right, because it all starts with a Chevy truck.
See your Badgerland Chevy dealer today.
Based on latest competitive data, excludes other GM vehicles, whichever comes first. See dealer for limited warranty details based on Ford and Ram 5-year, 60,000-mile warranty on gasoline engines.
At Blaine's Farm and Fleet, we get you outdoors because we get you. Whether you're ready to work in the yard, tackle a project, or enjoy family time, we get you the right products at the right prices. Right now, rewards members get a free $10 Blaine's gift card with a $100 purchase of estate fertilizer. Men's and women's Carhartt pocket tees, 2 for $30. 15% off Gardner Bender electrical tools and supplies. And save $50 on select Basement Watchdog backup sump pump systems. We get you outdoors because we get you at Blaine's Farm and Fleet.
Welcome back to Rutledge and Hamilton, presented by Coors Light on 100.5 ESPN. Also brought to you by Dancing Goat Distillery of Cambridge.
Oh, yeah. Round and round.
The folks at Canopy Wealth Management take the time to truly get to know and understand the dynamics of your values, goals, and plans for your family. You define your goals. They work towards making them happen with their comprehensive financial planning. After all, no family fits a generic mold. Neither should your financial plan. At Canopy, care, confidence, and clarity isn't just a tagline, it's a promise. Go to canopy-wealth.com to get started on your financial journey today. That's canopy-wealth.com. I am Jim Rutledge. He is Alex Strofe. This is Rutledge and Hamilton, presented by Coors Light. We're live from the Everlight Solar Studio, and we are really breaking down the news, and we talked to Mark Tauscher about this. You can listen back, Wisconsin on Demand, Apple, Spotify, any of those great places. Give us a like, give us a subscribe, and you can hear Mark Tauscher talk about the news that broke right before he came on. And long story short, it looks like college football could be in for a major shakeup here. Again, I'll just read from The Athletic. One league overseeing college football's highest level, no more conferences as we know them, playoff berths decided solely on the field, promotion and regulation of smaller schools, players being paid directly by the NIL, and transfer portal would be managed. And I'll be honest, if you set aside the nostalgia, Alex, I'm kind of super into this. Can I just be honest? If we just take a breath, regulation is really cool.
Relegation.
Relegation is really cool.
Yeah,
So
I
is
like that
regulation.
idea.
I like regulating things. Relegation is really cool.
He's not wrong.
But
regulation, yeah.
And then also the players being paid directly, the portal managed. Like, it fixes all the problems in college football, and then it gives us the best of both worlds. The players get paid, and they get agency over where they're going to play. Now, maybe it's a little bit more restricted, but in general, those are positive things. And I think in the long run, this could be really exciting for football fans.
Okay. Yeah, I see where you're coming from, but it's hard to just eliminate the nostalgia factor. Right. It's hard to just set that aside, right? Like, rivalries gone, regional football gone, conference championships gone. It's just hard to set that all aside. Now, change is difficult, right? Like, no matter the change, it is difficult. It's hard to wrap your brain around. There are worse ideas than this.
If this is what happens to college football, and let's be...
And can I be honest with you?
Relegation is actually really
Relegation's
sexy.
a big deal.
It's kind of sexy. You're right.
Yeah.
You're right about that. That one's fun. But this is probably a better idea than a ginormous Big Ten.
Yes.
Ryan?
That's a great point.
The more I read about it, the more I looked at it. I was assuming this was just going to be a Big Ten SEC model that they were proposing.
That's what it sounds
what
like.
They're proposing,
70 teams? Is that what I said?
70 teams,
yeah.
essentially what used to make up the Power 5 conferences,
and
and
then
then Notre Dame, the big ones.
And SMU.
And then all those group of 5 teams would essentially be the Division II, who could get promoted or relegated year to year.
So, to that point,
not horrible.
That could be
Not horrible.
your college football nostalgia.
Yes.
Like, that gets your old school itch of, like, that could go back to what it was at some level.
So, hold on. I haven't read the article in full yet just because it's happened while we've been on the air. So, what is your schedule comprised of?
Scheduling, there'd no longer be conferences. I assume it would just be based off of, like, strength of schedule. Probably whatever they do in, like, European soccer.
So we wouldn't still get Wisconsin, Minnesota every year? Or do we not know that answer?
We do not know. I don't even think they're close to that sort of talk right now.
I would imagine they still would try to make some
of the rivalries, some of like Wisconsin, Minnesota, but there's a chance you wouldn't play Ohio State once every 5 years. Something like that. Like, that's what I would imagine.
The point you made, and you kind of referenced it in passing, it's already over.
Yeah, it's already over.
And this system isn't right. So it's honestly the time for nostalgia. This system ended 2-3 years ago.
Correct.
And now the Big Ten's no longer the Big Ten. It's just a collection of teams that are going to be under the Big Ten conference title. So what I do know is that I will maybe watch some of these games because, look, the Horseshoe Bar at Ruth's Chris Steakhouse is amazing, and they have a couple TVs there. You can hang out with Kevin. I can have myself a steak sandwich during the Sizzle, Swizzle, and Sorrel happy hour, get myself an old-fashioned, and enjoy some of these games at Ruth's Chris Steakhouse in Middleton. This has been Rutledge and Hamilton, presented by Coors Light. Step into nostalgia with the Miller High Life Dive Bar.